Libbity bibbity. Hello and welcome to Tucson, Arizona. I am Randy,
And I'm Daniel.
and we're here to talk about car insurance. I'm here with Jake from State Farm. Libbity
Should I go
bibbity.
change shirts?
So,
Just got off work.
a couple of things. So the first one, I read this yesterday, but then we got into like all kinds of other conversations yesterday. Never really talked about it. So Jeremy Clarkson had a health scare and had to get a stent in his heart
Yeah, that's gnarly.
a couple days ago, which, like, if you're like me and you're a big fan of Top Gear, Grand Tour, and everything that they represent, like,
Something we share in common.
yeah, it's a scary, like, it's a freaky thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude's one of my heroes. He's an icon in the world of cars.
Mhm.
So, like, I got really, like, if you're watching these videos, if you're one of the 2 or 3 people that ever watch these videos, go back. There's a video I did then, like, 5 minutes after I finished watching the final Grand Tour. And, like, I just got done. Like, I was crying. Like, I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, that was a big piece of my life coming to a close. So, like, I got really emotional about it. Came out and talked about it, like, right away. Losing this guy would be a very bad day for me.
Yeah.
Like, the day that man dies, I'm going to cry unconsolably.
Mhm.
Like losing an uncle. Like, so I was just looking through some other stuff, and another article came up about it. And, you know, he's a big jokester, so he's saying he's probably only got like 70,000 hours left of life, you know? So he's always goofy about it, but I know he's got to be freaking out. I'm really hoping that it changes his diet
Yeah.
and gets rid of that big old belly he's got.
Yeah.
Like, that dude's got a massive balloon
Yeah,
stomach
he's getting
from like good eating.
more and more out of shape the
Yeah.
older he gets.
So hopefully he simmers down
Yeah.
and he's with us for another 20 years, because that dude is making some big moves and changing the way that Britain does their farming.
Mm-hmm.
Like changing their industry to actually like save farming. People don't realize if you've never been around a farm or on a farm or know a farmer, like, farmers don't typically make a lot of money outside of subsidies. And here in the States, if you really look into it, the government pays farmers an awful lot of money every year not to grow crops.
Mm.
It's a weird, twisted freaking world. Like, I grew up on a hay farm, so no one screwed with us. But, I mean, hay, if you have animals, hay is expensive right now, which is why I don't have any livestock. Like, I pay for a cow, have it slaughtered, and then I get the remains. Like, I'm not trying to raise a cow right now because the feed is insane. But half my family does still raise and slaughter their own animals, and it's not cheap. We need Trump, baby. We do. I'm going to spend that as much as possible so every ear out there can hear me say this. We need Trump back in office. But we need Clarkson to stay alive over there in Britain. Plus, he's a good he's a sound mind. Like,
Is he out of the hospital now?
Yeah, no, he's back at home.
Okay.
He was already at home by the time this news got out.
Okay.
He kept it pretty quiet. So yeah, he's doing well now, but it's still kind of freaky. In other celebrity news, so there's something I've heard about I don't know, probably like a month or 2 ago, but then it's coming up again. So, what's your take on when did Disney stop making good animated films? Or do they still make good animated films, in your opinion? I asked that as a leading question.
Oh,
but
that's a good question. I was thinking about this recently. It's weird that you bring that up. I was literally thinking about this like last week.
So in your opinion, does Disney still make good animated film?
So I've been a little out of the loop for their animated films. I haven't been really watching it because their live action films are dog shit. So I haven't been watching.
Fair.
Yeah, they after Endgame, I think I agree with you in that. After Endgame, they just started falling apart. I liked the Multiverse into Madness a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You're allowed to, dude. I'm not gonna.
No, the
I shit on the movie, not the person who enjoys the movie.
I get that. There's a lot that I didn't like about it, and then there was a lot that I did like. There was like a few scenes that were really cool, that were fun, and and I don't know if I could share this with you because you're my buddy. But the first time I watched it, I was on acid, and it was pretty intense. There's a scene
All
where
right.
they go through like they're falling through
Multi-layers.
multiverses, and they go through like one that's like all they're made out of paint, and I just remember being like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Sensory overload.
Yeah.
Sensory
And then
overload.
there's a battle at the very end of it where they're fighting with sound, and it's like like auditory. I was like, ah. But I watched it again at the house after because I'm sober now, and I watched it again at the house, and it sucked, dude. I really hated it the second time. First time it was pretty cool. Second time was no good.
I can see why that would change your
Chavez
opinion on it.
America is like the worst character I've ever seen
Oh,
in my
yeah.
entire life. If that's, I can't remember if that's the actual name.
America
but
Chavez. You
America
got it backwards,
Chavez,
but it's
okay.
right.
Yeah,
Use military
it's
terms.
just so bad, man, so bad. But I was thinking about this, the animated film thing.
I'm a big animated.
I am
Like,
too.
I
love
love
animated
'em,
films.
so-
I do too. I have since I was a kid. It's really what got me into movies. Really was animated films.
Yeah, it's a beautiful stepping stone.
Yeah, and Wall-E, which is Pixar, right?
Mhm, Yep.
Which is Disney, right?
I think it is
or is
now.
that separate? Or is that it? Because I can't ever remember if
That's a
Pixar
fair
is part
question,
of Disney.
dude. Because one of the animated studios is not Disney. I
Okay.
think it is Disney Pixar now.
Okay.
I don't know that it always was.
Okay. Wall-E's really good though. I like that
Wall-E's
movie.
fantastic.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Not
a
going
lot.
to disagree with you at all. I'd probably wind up divorced if I did because your mom loves
Yeah,
that
she
movie.
she took me, I think, and Andrew
Yeah,
to go see
she
that
talks
opening
about it a
day.
lot.
Yeah.
Let's see, Pixar. When did I don't remember if Pixar was always Disney or not. Was Pixar
Monsters Inc.
always Disney? No, Pixar was not always Disney.
Okay.
That was part of Lucasfilm.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
I did not know that
I'm
either.
learning that
In
right now.
'79, Pixar began as the graphics group, part of George Lucas's Lucasfilm computer division.
No shit.
Dude, like that's pretty rad.
That is pretty rad.
And then, if I knew this, I forgot it.
Had no idea.
So it feels new to me. '86, Pixar became a corporation spun off from Lucasfilm and funded by Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple.
Okay.
Also interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
That's two very influential men
For
involved in this.
Pixar, yeah.
I feel like I have learned this though. I think I did a deep dive a few years ago on this because it's starting to sound familiar.
Okay.
1991, Disney and Pixar entered a feature film agreement resulting in the release of Toy Story in '95.
Toy Story is great.
So good. In 2006, Disney acquired Pixar and completed the acquisition in May. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So it hasn't always been a thing.
Hasn't always been.
They
That's
are now,
wild that it was part of Lucasfilm. Though. That's
dude,
crazy.
right? Like,
I had no idea.
what really pisses me off is that means that Lucasfilm has now sold everything he's ever made to Disney,
To Disney, yeah.
like except for the Human Experiment.
I'm really
But they kind of own. I'm trying to remember who owns THX right now. The Dolby Digital
Yeah.
Surround Sound
Mhm.
Company, because that's also Lucasfilm. That's Lucas.
Oh, is it?
Lucas created that company, and I think Disney acquired that too. As
Jeez,
THX
they're
owned
just
by
taking
Disney,
everything.
became considered. Yeah, they bought it in '06. So THX, what's really cool about that is it's George Lucas was a genius.
Mhm.
Like, and hey man, kudos to you for making FU money off of Disney. But
Yeah.
Disney has like taken that plane and just
Crashed
cratered it.
Yeah.
But THX stands for the Human Experiment, which is one of his first films.
Okay.
And it's got Robert Duvall.
Okay.
And it's a human experiment. It's a fascinating movie.
Okay.
It's really good, but it's like old school. It's before Star Wars.
Okay.
So it's really good. But then he named the dude was at the forefront in pioneering audio and visual for film. Like, and the creative naming, like all the things that are named are like all the robots are named after like parts of different cameras or machines or whatever. Anyways, back to this.
Lightsabers are made out of lamps.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
dude. You know the firing sound of all of the not all of, but of some of the guns are striking high tension steel line with a pipe,
Oh, now that you say it, I can hear it.
right? Dude, like there's a whole book. I thought about buying it once, but it was kind of pricey. Yep.
Yeah.
And then that echo
Yeah.
through it. There's a book you can buy. There's probably several now, but there was one definitive book. They used to sell it. They probably still do at Fantasy Comic here in town. That was the definitive information behind Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
Like all the ins and outs of the little things. And
Yeah.
that I enjoy way more than I enjoy the movies.
Fair enough. No, I get that.
I do like the original trilogy, but they're
You're that
not,
kind of guy, though.
they're
I've,
not-
I've picked
yeah.
that up on you.
Yeah,
You're more of a research guy.
I like learning about
Yeah,
things.
I can. Yeah, I've learned that about you.
Yeah, it's kind of a curse. But anyway, so back to this. So when do you think? So yes, I agree. WALL-E is fantastic. I think pretty much everything by Pixar to a certain point is phenomenal.
I agree.
Like, I haven't seen past a certain point of Toy Story, whichever one had the purple bear.
Number 3.
Was that 3?
Mhm.
Okay, so 3 was the last one I watched.
Hugsy, I think.
Yeah, like I, got all emotional, got all teary and all that.
So did I.
and then didn't watch it.
As an adult.
Yeah, dude, like that was a hard watch
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, it was.
So I never watched the 4th one, which
neither.
has like
The
that's
spoon,
Nick Cage is the like
the stunt
motorcycle stunt
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm aware of it. I never saw it.
I never
I
saw
know
it
all
either.
about Spoonie and
Yeah.
never watched it. So I have no idea how to judge the movie.
Me neither.
It was probably great because it's Toy Story,
Okay.
but
I heard a lot of mixed reviews about it, though.
believable.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, I heard a lot of mixed reviews about it.
I just don't have an opinion, so I'm not going to say much.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with
And
you.
I don't know.
I haven't seen it either.
I don't know. I can't be certain that I know anyone who's watched that movie, because if anyone I know or hang out with ever watched it, they've never talked about it. I
Okay.
bet my buddy Ramon, who has a young son,
Mhm.
has watched them all. Never talk about it.
Yeah.
He's told me about Ferdinand the Bull and a bunch of these other cartoons that his kid loves, because this kid is on the spectrum. So
Okay.
like he locks in on things.
Mhm.
And when he sees something, he watches it over and over
Yeah.
and over. So Ramon, there's like a handful of these movies. He was like, "Hey man, Senor, you should watch Ferdinand the Bull. It's fantastic." And he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like Coco, his kid loves Coco.
Coco's good.
And then there was one other one that his kid was like hooked on for a little while. So I hear a lot
Encanto?
about these. Probably.
Okay.
Because he does speak, he is bilingual, so like they watch everything.
Did you watch the Lightyear movie?
No, hell no,
Oh.
hell no, I
good.
won't watch it, dude.
I liked it.
Really?
I thought it was fun.
Fascinating.
I thought it was fun.
You were like the one person.
I thought it was fun. Watched it a couple times.
I've got no interest.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No, they screwed Tim Allen because he's a conservative.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know the inside baseball behind that movie.
Oh, to voice Lightyear?
He is Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take that. The dude created that character. It's iconic. It's part of
Yeah.
him. And Disney, because he came out and endorsed Trump, they were like, nope, you're not doing this
Really?
film. That movie lost so much money,
Oh, I
and
don't
people
doubt it.
were so pissed that Tim Allen wasn't Buzz Lightyear
Yeah.
that they gave him the Santa Claus TV show.
Oh, okay.
That's how that show became a thing, because they
Gotcha.
were like, oh, we screwed up hard.
Mhm.
Like, people don't just come because of the character, they come because of you as the character.
Hmm.
And like, he didn't go out and pick it or nothing. He's like, no, all right, fine, they don't want me, whatever. And then the world was like, nope, we're not having this.
Mm.
Like, no, we don't need Chris Evans. But Chris Evans is also like a huge piece of shit, so like, he's an asshole. And there's a lot of rumors that he's got that Tom Cruise situation going on.
What's that?
He likes the boys.
Oh, Tom
Yeah.
Cruise has that situation?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like, you've never heard that?
I'm so out of the loop.
No, this is old,
Oh, I've never heard
dude.
that.
That's a rumor that's been going around.
I'm just getting this P Diddy shit now. I had no idea.
Oh shit, yeah, dude. The P Diddy thing's been around for a while,
Yeah, I had no clue. It's like all coming out now.
which is hilarious because I don't particularly listen to a lot of rap anymore.
Okay.
And I knew about all this.
Yeah.
But again, I do research and deep dive on
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But so, dude, I can't believe you've never heard anyone
never
make
heard
jokes
that.
about Tom Cruise
Never.
being a little light in the loafers.
Never heard it.
Dude, so I had heard jokes
Okay.
like when I was younger, like a teenager, like later teens. And then I started renting this house. Richter was right around the time Richter was born.
Okay.
So I'm renting this house. This kick-ass trucker, she became a friend of the family, like started coming to the church, and just super awesome chick, Susie. She's still a trucker. Single woman, and she had a big piece of land, and she put a second place on the back half of her land and needed a renter. And I was looking for a place, and she was like, "Hey, you're great. Like, if you help me work on it and level the trailer and all this fun stuff, like, I'll rent it to you super cheap." So I was like, "Cool." So we got really close. And like her and my aunts and everyone were really tight. She was super cool. Well, her son is a gay dude out of Vegas.
Okay.
And his profession was hearing aids. Like
Okay.
he was I don't want to get the profession wrong, but like he'd gone to college, like he had degrees and stuff, but like he was involved in the practice of hearing aids.
Okay.
Super cool dude. Like, we hit it off immediately. I enjoyed it when he came down to hang out. Like, he'd come down for Christmas, Thanksgiving, her birthday, stuff like that. And so we'd hang out. Really nice guy. There was a long-running joke because the pastor of the church at the time, he's an older dude, losing his hearing. He came down and for free hooked him up with a bunch of hearing aids.
Oh, cool.
So the running joke was that the pastor of our church got AIDS from a gay man. Low-hanging
Hearing
fruit.
aids, yeah.
Low-hanging fruit.
I get it.
But so much fun to
Yeah.
say. So, and then like him and my dad hit it off quick. Like they're still in contact. Like they're still friends. I've lost contact with everybody, so I don't know what he's up to now. But because him and my dad wound up hitting it off, and my dad's got terrible hearing, life of construction, it just cooks your hearing. He did this first like fitting for hearing aids at the same time. So I think hubris kept him from wearing them, and now I think he's really considering it. But while this guy was here, it's kind of a weird the way things connect in my brain because I feel like I'm partially on the spectrum. You know how much I love the Sherlock Holmes anything. So the first Sherlock Holmes movie came out that Christmas that he was here. So I took a bunch of us to go watch it, him included. I was like, "Man, we're going to go." He goes, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" I'm like, "Well, midnight, we're going to go watch this movie." And he was like, "Oh," I was like, "You want to go? Your mom's coming?" Like, he's like, "Hell yeah." So on the car ride, we're talking, and we're just shooting the shit, just cutting it up like I do with anybody. And I was asking him what living in Vegas is like, because at the time I still had never been to Vegas. And so we're talking, he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, like nightlife is wild." I was like, "Okay." And then he starts talking about, like, without getting into any kind of graphic detail, he's talking about how he does well. Like,
He pulls. Yeah.
And he was a good looking dude. And he had super charming charisma for days, like really nice guy. Like, I believe it. And so he's telling me all these stories. And it turns out for like a couple of years, I can't believe I didn't bring this up the other day when we were watching,
Mission Impossible?
No.
Oh.
The Kingsman 2.
Oh, okay.
The Golden Circle.
Yeah.
He's dated someone that was in that movie.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Mr. Piano Man himself, like the Rocket
Really?
Man. Yeah, dude. He dated him for a while. Elton
Wow.
John. So, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here, dude." Like, he was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I dated Elton John for
That's quite the story.
a couple of years." And I was like, "You're shitting me." He had pictures, dude,
Jeez.
with him and Elton John. I was like, "That's wild."
Yeah, that is
Like,
wild.
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "He's a super nice guy." He's like, "But, it ended." I was like, "All right." And then we start talking. He's also had some interactions with Mr. Mission Impossible himself.
No way.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me, dude.
So you got like a first-hand experience of it.
Well, secondhand.
Secondhand.
I wasn't in the room.
Yeah. Secondhand experience.
But he did discuss
That's wild.
these liaisons with a certain individual.
Isn't that like against the rules in Scientology though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop anybody,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
you know who? Like, John Travolta's Scientology.
Why
And that dude was getting rubbing tugs from dudes on airplanes.
why
and
does
shit.
it happen so often that really rich white dudes turn gay?
That's a wonderful question.
I don't get it.
I think they're already gay.
Yeah.
They're just closeted.
Closeted.
Forever, become super successful and have to stay closeted. Think of Kevin Spacey, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Prime example.
People are dropping dead around the guy, and he's like, "Oh, guess what? I'm gay."
Yeah.
Like you can't hate crime me, even though I've may or may not have harmed other people. But like, I don't know. What's really weird is how many people, and you see it happen a lot in any organized religion. Like, because I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. Like I believe in Christ. So I'm not. There's a fine difference, but you have to live the life to know the difference. There's a long history of like anti-gay like preachers of every version of any faith. There's like, oh, you can't do this, can't do that, and they're secretly they're in the closet. Like, it's like, come on, dude, get out of here. Yeah. So Scientology is not above that.
Catholic Church a lot.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
So Scientology is not above it.
Yeah.
Like, so. Yeah, bro. Like
that's wild, dude. That's news to me. I never knew that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I'm gonna look at Tom Cruise so differently.
He will
now.
Deny it.
Until he's
day
dead.
he dies.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
He's still, and I've thought about this a lot lately because I've been rewatching Mission Impossibles. I don't know that they can replace him. What's up, Holmes? Like, what happens when he decides he's done making those? What's up? Sorry, being talked at right now. Dude, does he look like he's trying to get the Warriors to come out and play right now?
He's wearing camel pants too.
Warriors,
come out and play.
That's what he looks like.
With OCPs.
Anyways, so I was thinking about this yesterday. What happens if he decides to retire and he's done doing Mission Impossibles? Like, how are they going to continue the franchise? He's perfect for it. Like,
he's made the franchise.
Yeah.
He's Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Ethan
Hunt.
Ethan Hunt.
Tom Cruise.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, Ethan Hawke. Different guy altogether.
Different guy altogether. Real guy.
Huh?
There's no guy that can replace Tom Cruise.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's just gonna end the franchise.
I don't know about that. Like at Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is him.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to have to try to do a weird spinoff like Men in Black, which failed miserably. You're welcome, bud.
Oh, international.
I never watched it.
Me neither. I see the cover art for it, and I'm like, skip. No, thank you.
No interest.
Here's the
Zero
thing.
interest.
I'm probably gonna get so much flack for this, and people are probably gonna shit on me and be like, "You're a terrible human." But Men in Black should be Men in Black. I'm sorry.
Should be.
It's in the fucking name.
Not women who are black.
Yeah.
See, that's what it was.
Yeah, I know. That's
And,
what, yeah.
and an Australian dude.
It's like the a prime example of like how dog shit something like that could be is the Ghostbusters.
2016.
Yeah.
I will never watch it.
I've never
seen any of it.
I've never even seen a trailer.
Same guy, wasn't it?
I think so.
Wasn't it Hemsworth that? Am I wrong? Was it not Hemsworth in Men in Black?
Yeah, Hemsworth was in Men in Black. Was he in Ghostbusters?
People of Color. Yeah, yeah, he was the receptionist.
Oh, I had no clue.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
an idiot. So that movie single-handedly, like, brought this giant spotlight into Hollywood, where it's at the forefront of when they started making all men evil or stupid.
Yeah.
Especially white men.
Mm.
That was like the salvo across the bow. Like, that was it.
The bookmark for it.
That
Yeah.
was the film that like made everyone go, holy shit.
Okay.
Like, you took a franchise that was universally beloved.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone
That
who
didn't
says,
like
I hate
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, that's right, dude. Like, everyone either knows the song, they love Slimer,
Yeah.
they love the Ecto-1.
Yep.
Like, there's something about that
somebody
movie.
loves.
Yeah, and even if it's not, even if it's only half, even if it's only who brought the dog? Like,
Yeah.
even if it's just like a little clip it,
Yeah.
like just a little clip, they're like, yeah, the movie's fun. Like, you can be like, yeah, it's fun.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, dude, like, come on.
Who doesn't love that?
Everyone loves
Yeah.
that. Like, I can put that movie on at any moment, and everyone in this house would be like, "Oh, damn, dude, Ghostbusters, what's
yeah.
up?" And then they'll come in and watch it.
Yeah.
Even if they don't watch the whole thing, they'll be like, "Oh, it's one of my favorite parts,"
Yeah.
and then just stand there for 20 minutes and then continue what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a staple,
It is.
and they destroyed that.
It's on my 25.
Respect, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had time to deal with mine. I've been dealing with too many freaking
No,
headaches.
I get it.
But like that movie single-handedly did that, and Disney has lost so much money making the same decision over and over and
weak
over.
formula.
Dude, it's trash.
It really is.
Like,
It doesn't make any sense. I don't. Because to me, I mean, I'm not a woman, so I don't. I guess I couldn't really speak for it. But like, I don't get how that makes somebody feel empowered.
I've asked your mom that.
I don't get it.
I have asked your mom, and I've asked a few of my friends. So your mom, though, is kind of a hard sounding board because she's not, like, she's very girly in a lot of ways, and then she's not girly in others.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, like, get her.
She's tough to gauge.
She really is. So, I mean, which is why I fell in love with her, because she's just enough princess to be able to, like, doll up and go out onto town, or make me get up and get everything because she's comfortable.
Yeah.
But she's also willing to work her ass off, make money, keep the house together, like, do everything without being asked for help. Yeah, like, she's exactly what Hollywood needs to see in order to write a strong woman. And I say that all the time to her. But I ask her, like, especially when we watch a movie that has some of that nonsense in it, just like, you know, girl power and boys are dumb and evil.
Like, overtly.
Yeah, like, so I ask her. I try to keep everything quiet until it's over because I try to gauge her. And half the time, she's getting pissed at the movie or TV show or whatever. So when it's over, I'm like, okay, let me ask you, what about that, like, made you feel like you were being represented? And she goes, that didn't represent me. Like, she's very, very clear about how she feels about this. She's also one of the women that will never vote for a female president. Like, man, that's not me. Like, that, I've never once said that. I've never told her anything. Like, I was raised by a bunch of strong ass female cops. Like, I'm used to, like, brawler women. So when I found out you're, like, when the first thing I learned about your mom, I was like, oh man, she's really pretty. I want to get to know her. And then we start talking. I'm like, oh, you're roller derby? Like, you're a bruiser? Even more attractive to me. I like strong women. I respect the hell out of a strong woman. So, like, when she doesn't need any of that, I don't understand why any other woman would feel like they need it, because she's already strong on her own. She doesn't need anyone representing her. Hell, she doesn't even need me to defend her. She's pretty quick to defend herself, and now she's armed, so she can really defend herself. But, like, I'm like, what do you think about any of this? And she doesn't like any of it. But then when we watch, like, have you ever watched Yellowstone?
A little bit.
So, Beth Dutton.
Yeah. She likes her.
She fucking loves her,
Yeah.
dude. She's like, I got her T-shirts. I've got her the mug.
Yeah.
Like, she loves her. And that's how you make a strong woman. But she still needs her dude. Like, it's a package deal. Like, he's able to provide something that she's lacking, and vice versa, which is how we were made. But she doesn't get it. She never feels like this is doing any good for women at all.
Yeah,
and
that's what I don't get.
And so my friend Jackie, I've asked her, because she used to be the very loud pro-feminist movement type of burn your bra type of person, like, very much the viewership that they're looking for. And half the time she finds it annoying.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's really fascinating. Like, I mean, my wife and her really good friends, but they differ in a lot of ways, and especially in their views. And even the woman who is the, you know, pro woman everything, women's rights, equal everything. When it comes to watching it on screen, she has a hard time enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I don't think most women want it, but Hollywood's got it in their mind that it's necessary,
Okay.
and I don't get it. But
N-
I'm like
n-
you,
neither
dude.
do I.
I'm a guy, and
Yeah.
I'm a dumb caveman of a guy, so I really don't get
Yeah.
it. I just know I don't like seeing white men just getting destroyed in every movie and
Yeah.
every TV show. It's like, really? There's no other villain you could have possibly created for
Yeah.
this role? It just gets annoying.
No, I get it. I get it.
But that's also why I sing the praises of A Quiet Place so much.
Yeah.
That's how you write a strong woman. But that's my opinion. That's from a
No, it is.
viewpoint of a
You're-
man.
I agree with you.
So circling back,
To Disney,
when did
Pixar.
Disney start to suck? Was it the 90s?
I'd say like 2010.
I'd say it's a pretty fair year. I'd have to gauge. I'd have to see.
I'd have
what
to look
came
at
out
some
in that
movies,
year.
yeah.
So what year was? Let's call Mulan because I know it was the 90s.
Mulan was the 90s. Mulan's
98.
great. Mulan's a strong woman.
Mulan's a very strong
Yeah.
woman, based on a real strong woman.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Mushu and Cricky tattooed. I love that movie. All right. So 98 looking good so far.
Yep.
So then we've got, let's see, what's another one?
Monsters Inc. Is that like 2004?
So Emperor's New Groove is one of my personal
Emperor's New Groove's
favorites.
a good one.
2000. Still
2000. Yeah.
good.
I remember when that movie came out.
Monsters Inc. 2001.
2001.
Yep. But I think that was also a Pixar. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Pixar.
it was Pixar.
So,
But you said Pixar and Disney
Yeah, yeah,
merged
yeah.
in 2001 or 4?
2006.
2006. Okay.
But it's still fair.
Okay.
Like all animated films that
Okay.
feel like Disney are fair right now.
Yeah.
So let's see. Road to El Dorado, 2000.
That's a
Still
good one.
looking good. So 2010 Disney movies. So those are all live action. Toy Story 3 came
Toy
out.
Story 3 is good.
Dude, one of my personal favorites came out in 2010. So I think it was later than 2010.
Okay.
Tangled.
Tangled's great.
Tangled is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You've watched it with me now?
Yeah, I have.
I sing every song.
Yep.
Like,
Tangled's a good one.
yeah. Dude, Flynn Rider
Yeah.
is my boy.
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting this comes up because I was watching this stuff. This is actually, we'll circle back to this, but this Tangled actually leads into the whole reason I brought this up in the first place. Let's see what else came out. Dude, that's it, dude. For 2010, animated, you have Tangled and Toy Story 3.
Okay.
But The Sorcerer's Apprentice came out in 10.
It's a good movie.
I like it.
I like it.
Prince of Persia came out in 2010.
It's a good one too.
I like it. Tron came out.
Good movie.
Yeah, I
really
like
good
it.
movie.
Secretariat, never saw it.
Me neither.
Alice in Wonderland, thought it was
Which one?
so shitty. The first
Johnny
one.
Depp one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I just
I watched both of them,
not
and just dude, the Jabberwocky kind of fell flat for
Yeah.
me. Like, dude, nothing about either one of those. The Switch, the Switch was
don't think I ever saw that.
okay. You'd like it because it's Jason Bateman and was it Patrick Wilson? So it was okay. Jennifer Aniston.
I got shredded beef in my teeth.
Yeah, I had to floss and brush my teeth right after dinner. Narnia. I love the Narnia series, but
Me
they're
too.
also Christian movies, so I'm partial. Starstruck, never saw it. Step Up 3, nope.
Never saw it.
Den Brother, nope.
Ooh.
Ariadne.
Big Brother or not Big Brother. Something Brother about the Bears.
Brother Bear.
Brother Bear.
Dude, Brother Bear was,
So solid.
yep. Coda.
What year was that?
Let's see. It was way earlier than that.
Really?
Yeah, that was like
2002?
03.
03?
Yep. Yeah, Brother Bear, dude. Coda.
Great.
Yep. Fantastic.
Great animated film.
Super touching.
Seriously.
Like, yeah, Disney.
I
was
remember
still
getting
in the
emotional
game.
when I first saw it as a kid.
Yeah, dude. Like, I quote that movie a lot
Yeah.
because of the two Moose brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, I love do. I love do too, eh? I say that to your mom all the time. I love do. I love do too, eh? I can't believe you wrecked a mammoth. Hey there, smallish bear. Like I call Peyton smallish bear all the
Yeah.
time. So yeah, we're looking good for there. So let's see 2014 Disney movies. Planes, Fire and Rescue. I thought the planes were kind of fun.
Yeah, they were.
Big Hero 6.
Big
That
Hero
was
6 was
good.
fun.
That was good.
Good story.
That's how about animated? Well, no. So let's look at 2016 because that's the year of the Ghostbusters. Zootopia. That was fun.
Yeah.
Finding Dory.
Yeah.
That was good. Moana.
I don't think I saw Moana.
I
Show
don't
me
get
the
it.
cover.
It's the Hawaii one.
Oh, yeah. No, I never saw it.
I don't get it. There's some cute moments and there's some cute characters,
Okay.
but they're animals.
Nice.
There's a little pig because there's wild pig all
Yeah.
over Hawaii, and then a chicken because there's also wild chicken. Otherwise, I don't know why it needs a second one.
That was The Rock, right?
Mm-hmm. And he's gonna do a live action version of it,
Oh, really?
dude. It's 2016. Like it's not even 10 years, and he's already gonna do a live action.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was the bad guy wasn't a bad guy.
Mm.
And it was a woman who was misunderstood because something was stolen from her by men,
Mm.
and it's all nature. So it was just like, it fell flat for me.
Okay.
It fell on deaf ears. I was like, I watched it a couple of times, and I was like, I will never understand why this is so good.
Hmm.
Like, is it the representation of Hawaii? Like, do Hawaiians love this movie?
Mhm.
Clearly one does, because at the football game there was a big ass native that looked just like him and was like had the big fake wig, big wig on, and was carrying around the hook and everything.
Okay.
So, like, clearly some Hawaiians dig it.
Mm.
I think it's mostly because he was represented well.
Okay.
Like, but I don't know, dude. It didn't
Yeah,
hit for me.
I never saw it. I remember when it was coming out and I was interested in it, but I never saw it.
Yeah, it didn't hit for me personally.
Because that's Disney, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's all we're looking at.
Okay.
Dude, that's it for animated up to that point. But you get Pete's Dragon live action, Jungle Book live action.
Did you like Pete's Dragon?
I don't remember watching it. I love the original animated.
Okay.
I love the original. If I did watch it, I don't really remember. I think I did watch it.
Okay. I think you've got it on digital.
Don't really remember it. I probably do.
I think you do.
And I probably enjoyed it.
I watched it for the first time.
I think it was
4 months ago.
If I did watch it, was it touching at all?
A little bit.
Okay, then probably. I don't remember. I think I watched it once.
Okay.
The second, Alice Through the Looking Glass.
I
God,
didn't see that one.
Movies suck so bad. The Jungle Book, I did enjoy that, but I'm partial. I love the original Jungle Book.
Me too.
So, and this did
Mowgli.
really good. Zootopia was fun.
I like Zootopia.
That was a lot of fun. The DMV was so on point.
Yeah. The sloths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ha.
Ha.
Ha. That was so on point
Yeah.
for anyone who's ever had to be in the DMV.
DMV. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they nailed it with that.
So fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in it.
Plus, it's Bateman, dude.
So
Like,
2016,
Finding Dory was fun.
Finding Dory was fun.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
BFG didn't
Who
watch
played
it.
Dory though?
That's Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah. Very anti-Trumper. Very angry.
Very angry, mean person.
Yeah. Have you seen her
According
stand
to
up?
the internet. No.
Dude. Apparently, I
It's
watched.
probably not something I would ever be interested in.
Dude, what?
Is their stand up good?
Are you not a lesbian? So Terrible Human, right?
Yeah.
Then that's universal, like everyone's saying it.
Yeah.
And
Surprised she hasn't lost her show yet.
she did, dude, long
Oh,
time
she
ago.
did?
Oh yeah.
Oh, she did lose
she's
it.
been out of the limelight for
nice,
a while.
Nice. She deserved it.
So her special apparently is addressing all of that.
Oh, nice.
I'm imagining there's a lot of spin.
Yo, fuck. Are you kidding me?
In order
It's
to come out,
almost me.
in order to come out and like make it like a special. So who was I watching? I don't remember if it was the Quartering or Tim Pool, but they played clips of it. Oh no, maybe it was the Friday Night Tights guys, or Nerdrotic. But somebody I watch played clips of it when it was like first coming, like when it first dropped, because it's only like 2 weeks old.
Oh, really?
And there's a whole clip that she does where she comes out and like addresses something about the nonsense that she was going and doing during her show, and like makes a comment about, you know, a strong woman in television or whatever. And apparently she got like a 3-minute standing ovation for that line.
Sourced crab.
Bro.
Source crab. Source crab.
Now, I would love for someone to spin this, make it about a man, and then see how he survives. Oh, wait, that's right. We've done that, and his entire studio is shut down, and it set off the entire Me Too movement with Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
He pulled a lot of the same crap she's pulling. She's coming out like Teflon, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not at the time because she lost her show.
Yeah, she lost her
and
show.
people hate her.
Yeah. I've never liked her.
Me neither.
Never liked her.
Me neither.
I've never thought she was funny.
Same,
never
dude.
thought she was creative.
Same. Never thought she was nice.
I always felt like I could see through her bullshit. Like I
Same.
always thought that she was a real big asshole. And then it came out and I was like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
vindication,
Yeah,
baby.
exactly. I was like, yeah. I was like, I knew it.
I never watched any of her garbage. I'd seen a little bit of it because I was working in a lot of houses back when like she first like came onto the scene, and people would always have it on, and I'd see stuff and I'm like, ugh. God,
I kind of
this
want to
is
watch her new
trash.
special just to shit on it.
Dude, I've thought about it. I've thought about doing just an hour-long,
Yeah.
like just roasting the shit out of her
Yeah, that'd
show
be fun.
because she's not good. She wasn't a good actor.
No.
Like,
The only thing she played well was Dory.
yeah, and Dory's an idiot.
Dory's an idiot.
But Dory's kind.
Corey, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Dory is your mom as a fish.
exactly.
Like the memory span like
Gone.
that,
Yeah.
and just kind to everyone.
Yeah.
But-
Squishy.
But not an angry lesbian.
No, not an angry lesbian. Yeah, I always saw through her bullshit.
Me too, man. Like,
Never trusted her.
so I bring all of this up. We're 42 minutes in to talk about basically one movie that kind of kicked off this whole thing for me and one actor who played in him. So circling back, maybe we
So
should.
we've made it to 2016 and we're starting to peter out.
Yeah, so let's go to 2018 Disney movies. Dude, Ralph Wrecks the Internet was good.
Yeah, that was really
I
fun.
love Wreck-It Ralph, but
Yeah.
I'm a huge John C. Reilly fan.
Same.
So we finally got The Incredibles 2.
Yep.
It was good.
I liked it.
I liked it.
It was fun.
It
It was great to see Jack again.
was. The first one is still just
Oh, leaps and bounds better.
dude,
Yeah.
so good.
Edna Mole, my favorite character.
Yeah.
I love the way
Darling.
Darling, when she walks.
No capes.
I always wish she had a cigarette with her.
She did, dude.
Did she
had
really?
that big long French cigarette holder.
Did she?
Yeah, she was
Am I
whipping it
am I
around.
remembering it?
Yeah, she was
Okay,
always
okay,
whipping
okay,
it around.
okay.
She's like, darling.
Darling.
No capes.
No capes.
Dude, that's it. They did another Freaky Friday in 2018. Had no idea. The Nutcracker of the Four Realms.
Okay.
Black Panther came out in 2018. Solo, A Star Wars Story. Yep, that was a
I
thing
didn't
that
like Solo.
that happened. No one likes
Nobody
Solo.
likes Solo.
I love the actor who played Solo.
Who is it?
I can't remember his name now. Solo. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. A Star Wars Story. Alden Ehrenreich.
I never heard of him.
Ehrenreich. Ehrenreich. Alden Ehrenreich. Ugh. So there was another. He was in Cocaine Bear.
Oh, cool.
I've never seen it.
It was fun.
So he was the main dude in a movie that I really enjoyed. I don't know what it like. It looks like it only did 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb and 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's amazing.
Okay.
It's called Beautiful Creatures. I really enjoyed it. It's a really fun movie. I wish they'd have like continued doing some more, but he was the main guy in that, and I
Okay.
really liked that when it came out. But he's the guy who played Solo. Cocaine Bear, Hell Caesar. Is there anything else?
Hail Caesar was fun.
Oh, he was in Oppenheimer, dude. Good for you, buddy.
Nice.
And a bunch of other stuff, like some other small stuff. Oppenheimer is definitely like the big one. That's sad though, because Solo was supposed to be like his big break, and
It tanked.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think it made money, but the fans hate it.
Really?
Oh yeah. So 2020 Disney movies.
Now we're getting into dangerous territory.
Onward. Never watched it.
Didn't see it.
Soul. Didn't see it. Oh, the live action of Mulan,
What?
where they catered to China and like shit. On
There's a live
everyone
action
else.
Mulan?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Why the fuck am I learning so much tonight? Tom Cruise is gay. Live action Mulan. Found our title for the video.
Yeah, dude, Mulan. And
I had no idea. I had no fucking idea.
You know what you won't find in a live action of Mulan?
Anything good?
Facts. I was a little more on the nose than I was hoping you were going to say. Mulan. You won't find Mushu.
No Mushu?
No Mushu, because the original Mulan, apparently the Chinese Communist Party thought it was extremely not okay to have the dragon in there, and it was like a huge sign of disrespect.
Mushu's the shit, dude.
Mushu is the shit. That's why he was the first color tattoo
Yeah, Mushu's
I ever got.
super dope.
Well, pseudo, because, well, not really true. My very first tattoo was color, but it's not it's an okay tattoo, but like the first one in my sleeve
Was color.
was
Yeah.
color. And very prominent. The whole world sees it every day. So, dude, Mushu is the best.
Yeah, he's
dude.
great.
Like, he's one of the most quotable characters
Yeah.
Disney's ever had.
I agree.
You've been a part of it.
Yeah.
Dishonor on you,
We've
dishonor
watched-
on your family,
Dishonor on
dishonor
your
your cow. Like, yeah, dude.
We watched it together.
Yeah.
We sung the songs.
Yeah, I love that movie. We've sung that song in the car.
Make a man out
Driving
of
your
you.
mom crazy. But then I introduced her to Dan Vask, and
Yeah, that was
she
fun.
loves his covers. But yeah, so Mulan.
So I literally had no idea that there was a live action Mulan. I completely flew under my radar. I'll never watch it, but
Is that it? In 2020?
yeah. So I said 2010. I was a little too early.
Soul and Onward. That's it. Let's see. So what about 21 Disney films? Jungle Cruise. Fucking hate The Rock. Never watch it. Raya and The Last Dragon. Luca.
Mm-mm.
They look like they're ocean monsters or water monsters that also are human. I don't know. That's when you got the live action of Cruella.
Never saw it.
Ron's Gone Wrong. Don't know what that is. Encanto.
Encanto's good.
I never saw it. Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I like the books.
An animated one. I liked the live action ones. They were fun. The
I
boys
never-
loved
I
them.
never saw them.
The boys loved them, so I watched
Really?
them. Yeah, they're good. I liked them. I thought they were enjoyable. I never read the books.
I used to get them from the Scholastics Book Club.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Those in Captain Underpants.
22 was Lightyear. Didn't watch it. You liked it. Turning Red. Didn't watch it.
I heard that was terrible.
Um,
That's supposed to be about girls having periods.
yes, but Asian girls because they
Sorry.
get the red panda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chippendale,
Not marketed for us.
yeah, right. Chippendale Rescue Rangers looked fun. I didn't watch it, which
I
sucks
didn't either.
because I love Chippendale Rescue
Okay.
Rangers. That's back when Disney was doing really good cartoons for Saturday mornings. There's a Night at the Museum cartoon
Oh, I
movie.
didn't know that.
Me neither. So clearly didn't watch it. That's it for 22.
Yeah, it looks like 2020 is when they really started falling off.
2023, Peter Pan and Wendy was live action, and I heard it was garbage. Elemental, that looked cute. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
It's like everyone is an element. There's like a water guy. There's
Oh,
water
yeah,
people,
I've seen
fire
this.
people.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
No, I've seen. I've,
Oh,
like,
okay,
I've, s-
okay.
I've heard of it.
It's when they finally completely destroyed Indiana Jones. Fuckers. Only one of the greatest films of all time. And ever since you guys got your hands on it, you just slowly just... Wish.
Not ringing a bell.
So Wish, I will not watch it. It lost a lot of money. And it was supposed to be the origin story of how their theme song, When You Wish Upon a Star. Well, that came from Pinocchio, but they then did the shooting star over the castle in every film. And this is supposed to be like the origin of like wishing upon a star.
Okay.
And apparently it cratered financially.
Really?
Yep. Let's see. Another Diary of a Wimpy Kid film, Christmas. That's really funny. They've got Wish next to Crater. Let's see. Apparently they're the ones who did Quasi. It was a Disney thing.
No shit.
Yeah, you were just talking about it.
Quasi was good.
But it's not an animated.
No. I can't believe that was Disney. There's a lot of swearing in it and torture and stuff.
Well, they might have ran it under a different banner.
Okay.
Then 2024, Inside Out 2. No interest, not for me. I understand I'm angry, and I don't need to understand how cartoons in your brain tell you. So it's fair to say, oh, here, let's go to, did we do 2018? We might have.
I think we did.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. It's not a... So about 2017 was Cars 3. I never watched it. I love the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Coco. I enjoyed Coco. I thought that was
Coco was fun.
a really fun story. The Tangled Ever After came out, and I liked that one, but I love Tangled, and we'll get back to that in a minute. And Lost and Found, Lou. I had no idea. So yeah, Olaf's Frozen Adventure, Descendants 2, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Did you like
Beauty and the
Frozen?
Beast. Nope. Not for me.
I didn't like it either.
No. And then they tried saying it was the first princess who didn't need a man, and that's not accurate at all.
I'm trying to think of other ones.
So Little Mermaid, Prince Eric didn't do shit.
Yeah, that's true. But she was chasing him.
She was after him, but they were like, "Oh, it's the first princess who didn't need him, who doesn't have a man." Okay, well, most of the men are fucking Mulan didn't
Mulan
need a
didn't,
man.
yeah.
She didn't get a man until the end anyway.
Yeah.
Because like even the granny jokes about it. She's like, she brought back a sword when she should have brought back a man.
Yeah.
And then a few minutes later, the commander rolls
Shows
up,
up, yeah.
and fucking grovels at her feet.
Yeah.
And apologizes. So Mulan saved a nation.
Yeah.
And she was leading the men.
Against the Huns.
But yeah, Frozen was the first one where there's a princess who's a man. She's also the fucking bad guy through the whole movie.
Oh, okay.
Frozen?
I'm just not remembering it like that.
So it's like, no, dude, she like goes off, gets all angry, doesn't want to like get married or anything, takes off, builds her little Frozen. I've only ever watched it once too,
Okay.
dude, and that's when it came out. She like builds her ice fortress, builds like an ice monster to protect her ice fortress, and is just in isolation. And then her sister meets up with Olaf. No,
Yeah.
Olaf is the snowman.
Olaf's a snowman.
Sven is the reindeer. And Chris
Maybe.
Pine is the dude. That's all I remember. I don't remember his name. But I think Sven was the reindeer.
Okay.
But then she like meets this dude because she's trying to find her sister. And the whole time she's trying to find her sister. And her sister's just like pissed at the world. Hates the world and just wants to be in isolation because she's now got superpowers. Which anyone else would be fucking stoked about.
I'd be pumped.
And she's pissed and takes off.
I'd be
It's
pumped.
like, and then her sister finds her and like they defeat the big ice monster thing or
I
whatever.
still try to have superpowers in the shower.
Dude, I try to have superpowers everywhere.
Yeah.
I need one of these numbers.
Yeah, me too.
It's my favorite thing to do at automatic doors. Use the force.
Use the force.
But yeah, dude, like it's not like there's not much of a story there. But it got like hailed with all of the appraise and accolades.
I didn't like it. I only saw it once. I don't really remember it very much.
I watched it once
Yeah.
when it came out.
I liked
'Cause the
Olaf. I
boys
thought
were
he was
little.
fun, but that was it.
I like Josh Gad, the guy that plays him.
The guy that plays him.
Yeah. I thought he was annoying. What cracks me up is everyone loves him, and to me, he was just Jar Jar Binks all over again. He
Yeah,
took
to a
up
degree.
so much time. He was always just ridiculous, over the top. I don't know. It's just me, though. Like, clearly I'm wrong because the movie made a crap ton of money, and God, dude, the toy
Yeah, you
sales
see frozen toys everywhere.
everywhere, dude. And
Yeah.
everyone was the princess and all this other stuff. Whatever. Hell, like, it just... Why is that important? But anyways, dude, Tangled didn't need Flynn Rider.
Mm-mm.
She was out just doing her own thing. He basically, like, he kind of got in her way a couple of times.
Yeah, he did.
Like, and he didn't get her to the end.
Yep.
Like, none of these, like, have a dude and then run off and do stuff. I can see it. Brave. The whole point of that movie, which I'm pretty sure came out before Frozen. Yeah, Brave definitely came out before Frozen. She doesn't have a dude. She runs away because her family, because it's the way the Celtic people worked back in the day in ancient times, since you all probably have no idea about the true history of the Celts. They were tribes people, and they would come together, and they, just like the British would do and most other royal families across the world of all different walks of life, families would marry children together to strengthen the families, and it's all political ties. And they were trying to marry her off. She didn't want to get married. She like won the archery tournament and then like took off, and her mom got turned into a bear. And then all of her triplet brothers got turned into little bears. There was like a witch doing stuff. She didn't have a dude through the whole movie. And at the end, still didn't have a dude. And the dad changed his mind and was like, hey, yeah, marry whoever you want, whenever you want. Things will change. Like, our custom will change. And she ended up without a dude. So let's see. Brave was 2012. Frozen, 2013.
Okay. So it wasn't the first one.
Brave was the first one that didn't wind up with a dude
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Suck it, losers. Like, I don't like Frozen. I don't like what it stands for, because it's just standing for, hey, girls, don't ever find a dude ever. Just be you. Just by yourself. Be a crazy cat lady. No kids. No nothing. Like, hey, if you
Crazy
don't want to
cat
have
lady.
kids, dude, fine. Like, that's your prerogative. But people are better in pairs.
Yeah.
We just are. We're a social animal. There's a reason that if people were by themselves, they go crazy, and there's a reason it's inhumane behavior. Like, there's inhumane punishment to have a prisoner locked up in a isolation cell for too long. Like, it breaks your brain. That's all you need to know. So, the whole reason I brought this up, now an hour into this conversation, Tangled. In my opinion, one of the greatest animated movies ever made by Disney. Flynn Rider was so much fun.
Yeah.
All the characters were great. The humor was on point. The animal sidekicks were all fantastic. Dude, Pascal is such a G, the little chameleon.
Yeah.
The horse is hilarious.
Yeah.
Did the frying pan stuff.
The frying pan stuff's great.
The music's great. Movie was a banger for me. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Okay.
Is all my opinion. So, Zachary Levi played Flynn Rider. Zachary Levi played Shazam.
Okay.
What was your opinion of both of them? Tangled, Shazam, Zachary Levi, all of it.
I like Zachary Levi. I didn't know that's who that was until you said Shazam, but I like the first one. I didn't see the second one.
I haven't seen the second one yet either.
didn't see the second one. I
But
thought
when
the
you
first
get
one was
Helen Mirren, who was an amazing actress, but she's 1,000 years old,
good. Yeah.
and she's your bad guy.
Yeah. A little unbelievable. Yeah. No, I agree. But to get back to Tangled, I really enjoy Tangled. I think it's great. I think it is one of the best Disney movies ever made.
Agreed.
It's way up there. Way up there. I think it's awesome. Mulan takes it I give Mulan a little bit more of a win. Just because I
I'm
grew
not
up
mad at that.
I grew up on Mulan.
I'm torn.
I watched it 1,000 fucking times as like an adolescent and a kid.
Fair, dude. Fair.
That VHS got used. Every time I'd go over to my grandma's house, it would be Mulan. It would be like the first movie that we would watch.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You'll never hear me say a bad thing about Mulan.
I know.
I'm torn. I think it's depending on my mood.
Okay.
Because Tangled is a little bit more like upbeat and
it is.
fun, and Mulan like has stakes.
Yeah.
Like real stakes.
A little darker.
And I guess it's just my mood, but typically I watch them back to back.
Okay.
So if I throw one on,
That's what we did the last time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I operate.
Yeah.
If I throw on one, it makes me want to watch the other one.
Yeah.
Just as this beautiful balance.
Yeah.
And like I can't say that about a lot of animated movies. Normally if I want to watch one, I just watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't make me like want to watch something else like
Okay.
to pair with it. But to me, Mulan and Tangled are a beautiful pairing.
Yes.
So Zachary Levi came out, and this a couple months ago he did this, but then it's coming out again today. Like it's another big, like it's in the news media all over again. They're running that dude's name through the ground
Really?
because he's been endorsing Trump.
Oh, okay.
Because he sees Trump as the only option that makes any sense, and he's been very loud about it. And people are trying to say that he's just butthurt because Shazam didn't rocket him to the spotlight like The Rock, who does a lot of juice. That he's upset with Hollywood, so he's doing this, and they're saying it's going to be the thing that ends his Hollywood career.
Really?
Yeah. So you're not a political person, which is why I throw some of this at you.
Mm.
In your opinion, should someone else's opinion end their career?
No.
Like
Not
ever.
even close. No.
And not just in Hollywood, just in
And
general.
This is a huge reason why I stay away from all of it, because of how, like, I think the word that I'm looking for is polarizing people get.
No, that's a good word.
It's wild to me how, like, I don't care what your views are. It doesn't matter. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, to their own thoughts, to their own beliefs. Everybody's you can be any religion, you can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't affect me. It's never going to hurt my feelings. But the fact that there's so many people that get that bent out of shape over something as simple as I endorse this guy or I endorse this guy is fucking crazy to me. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, I don't get it. I don't hate Trump. I don't have any, I have no ill will towards him. I don't think that he's a big piece of shit. I think that Kamala Harris is a pretty snaky person. I think she's pretty evil. But it doesn't, I can't wrap my head around why endorsing somebody means that a career gets ended. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, nothing adds up. It doesn't compute with me. It's stupid. You learn it as a kid that all people are different, and all people should be respected equally, regardless of what they believe in. And then all of a sudden that becomes not the case with like one specific thing, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
And it's mostly with one particular person.
Yeah, it largely is with one particular person.
Have you ever heard? So I know you've heard some because you do follow a lot of comedians and stuff who do talk about him, and in some cases have met with him.
Yeah.
Have you heard of all the crazy shit you've heard about Trump? Have you ever heard half as much crazy shit about any other single person outside of Hitler?
Not in the course of my life. No.
Like outside of like maybe Stalin or Hitler.
It's wild how hated he is. That's something that like again like I don't. It's not my place.
No, but that's why I'm bringing it up. Because I'd say that just to interject a little bit, just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
About 60%, probably closer to 70% of the American population are more like you. I'm an outlier. Like I'm real big into politics. I follow the stuff real closely. Like I get passionate about it, but I don't end friendships over it.
Yeah.
Like I've got friends on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
Like I can separate. Like I can, even though I'm passionate about my beliefs.
That's what I don't get is how people can't separate.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
But just so you know, like I bring these things up because it's interesting to me to hear what your thoughts are.
Okay.
Because you're more akin to the average person that's going to be voting in a couple of weeks. They're more like you. They're kind of, you want to be able to watch, what you want to watch without really getting fucked with. Like you don't really have too many. You might have one or two opinions that
I would
matter.
vote for him.
So, and that's awesome. But like even if you could, like even if you were exactly the way you are, politically speaking, you're still hearing things.
Yeah.
And now I don't know how much you hear from me that you wouldn't hear from anyone else. I don't know if I'm a new voice in what you hear or not.
A lot of the people that I follow, they like have similar views that you do.
Okay. So that's what I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
So, but if you're like I'm saying, you're more like the average everyday person. But most people can be swayed one way or another, which is universally true of people.
Crazy.
Like with enough pushing. I mean, it's a test that's actually been done by a few different people. But if you tell someone something enough for long enough
Political
in enough ways, you will convince them. Well, like I could just tell you you're a piece of shit every day,
and I could feel it,
and eventually you're going to believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have to say it anymore.
Yeah.
Because now you've believed it, and it's going to
tell
take
myself that.
and it's going to take twice as long, and it's going to take twice as long to have someone else unconvince you.
Yeah.
Like we're easier led than
we're
people like to
persuasive,
believe, dude. So like, and that's the reason that the term sheeple exists, because people are easily swayed and manipulated. The government does it to us literally every day.
Well, you see it in the political ads.
Dude, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you've now seen some of the lies. So now, some of them you didn't know were lies until I said something or someone else may have said something. But a contrary voice had to be in your ear to be like, hey, yeah, that's insane. That's not true at all. But, so I'm not saying you would be persuaded by it, but you are hearing it just like everybody else.
There's something I wanted to ask you. Something that it's just like a curiosity that I have for myself is I know that you are a huge Trump supporter and fan.
Yes.
What happens after the 4 years is up and he gets out of office again? Like,
new president, dude.
Well, I know that, but do you lose that same like drive and determination that you have for the beliefs that you have?
Me personally?
Like, is it specifically just because of him, or is it like, because I know you lean more like you're Republican, right?
I'm a conservative.
Conservative.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, do you lean more towards just the conservative side of things, or are you just a big Trump fan?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. So, for me personally, you're asking Pete personally, right?
Yeah, you personally.
Okay, so me personally, my beliefs are always my beliefs, and they have been, for the most part, since I was like young. Like
Okay.
a lot of this stuff I was raised in it. Like I've been shooting guns since I was like 3 years old. So
Okay.
guns are a part of who I am. You see that with the rest of my
Yeah.
family. Like it's a big deal.
Yeah, gun family.
And so gun like responsibility and
Safety.
safety
Mm.
are part and parcel to all of that.
Mm.
We're not just like woohoo and Homer Simpsoning our TV, you know. Like, you know, there's no drinking, no drugs, no nothing.
Yeah.
Like you are of sound mind when you're out there on the range because it's fun, but it's responsible.
Yeah.
So that automatically being an avid 2A guy, that kind of leans me towards a few ways. It's one of those building blocks that kind of pushes me to the right anyway,
Mm.
because other people are like, well, no one should have guns. And I'm like, well, that's not accurate. Like, I think, in my opinion, and I'm backed by our founding paperwork, our documents that created us as a nation, everyone has the legal right, protected by the government, given to us by God, to have guns. There is not one person. I think that like lesbian vegan farmers should be able to defend their right to say what they want to say and live their life with firearms.
What's a vegan farmer?
Dude, like,
Lettuce and stuff?
I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to think of examples
No,
that,
I know.
aren't me.
It was just fun. It
Like,
was just,
gluten-free vegan farmers.
You
like,
said it, and I had this like mental image of like a farmer just like harvesting a shitload of lettuce, and that was it.
So but people that typically wouldn't see eye to eye with me on just about anything,
Okay.
I think that they should have the same voice I have, and I believe that fervently. Like,
I thoroughly agree with you on the whole 2A situation. I agree wholeheartedly.
I'm happy to
with
hear
you,
that.
yeah.
I think
I think
wish-
everybody should own a gun.
Yes,
I think everybody
I
should.
think that it shouldn't be just, you know, again, because I'm all about safety. I think that there should be courses that everyone has to take, just like a driver's license.
Yeah.
I think that you should be able to go in and be like, okay, go to like very strict, structured training, be trained with firearms, and then get your firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you've got an armed society. And there's a very old saying that I very much believe people on the left typically don't. If you're an anti-gun person, you don't believe this, but an armed society is a polite society.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever, not that you would, but would you ever consider carjacking someone in a country that everyone potentially has a gun?
Fuck no.
Like, would you, you know, try to harm a woman walking home in the middle of the night
If everybody's armed.
if everyone's armed?
Nope.
Like, because not just her, but every civilian, everybody,
Yeah.
dude. Like, you've got to be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a big thing for me. My biggest thing though is freedom, which is why I think that those lesbian farmers, like, I don't care who people are in. Like, if you're consenting adults, I don't care what you do.
Mhm.
Now, my Christian beliefs butt
Yeah.
up against what you do, but I don't let that stop me. I mean, I've got friends, like, you know, I don't want to name them in case they
Yeah.
see this and don't want to be named, but like, I have lots of lesbian friends. Like, I've got lots of gay friends. I got gay friends that own gay bars.
Yeah.
Like, I value these people's friendship. Like, I value them as people. Our walk isn't the same, but that's not my concern. Like,
That's like what I was saying. It shouldn't.
Yeah,
Other
it-
people's
it-
views and opinions
yeah, it
should
doesn't.
not affect you.
Yeah, and typically they don't.
Yeah.
Now, I think that those people should be able to protect themselves with
Yeah.
firearms and defend their First Amendment to speak out against me and to disagree with whatever I have to
Yeah.
say. So I lean more towards what's a libertarian, but I call myself small L libertarian because I don't believe everything should be legal. A
Okay.
true libertarian believes in true freedom, like everything freedom. I don't believe you should be able to harm people that don't want to be harmed. Like,
Yeah.
I believe in, you know, private ownership of property and things, and true libertarians don't. The reason I don't call myself a Republican is Republicans lie a lot.
Okay.
Most
So do Democrats.
politicians
Yeah,
do.
I was gonna say yeah.
So, but my thing is, I want a small government. Our government should only be here to defend our borders, protect us from outer threats and inner threats, and make sure that everything runs smoothly,
Yeah.
but in a very small capacity,
Okay.
which is how we were designed.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we have 3 branches of government. People are always saying we're a democracy. No, we're not. We're a constitutional republic. We have 3 branches of government. A democracy is the most amount of people say what's going to happen. And that's more of an anarchistic lifestyle.
Okay.
So it's mob rule. Mob rule doesn't work. Mob rule gets people hurt. So, yes, I am most excited about Trump. It's the most excited I've ever been about a
Yeah,
presidential
because you
candidate.
get fired up over him.
Yeah.
And my concern is just him, like, because I know a lot of people view him as like a fix-all, but it only lasts for 4 years.
That's fair. So if he's able to implement what the things that he wants to implement, it's going to have a rippling effect. So there's going to be
But can't they be undone?
a lot of it can be.
Okay.
Which is why we're in the position we're in right now financially as a nation.
Yeah.
So his biggest thing was making us money. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
He's not a freaking racist. I'm so sick and tired
Can
of
I
hearing
pause
that.
you for like 2 seconds? I need a water real bad.
Yeah, dude, go for
Okay.
it.
I like this conversation though.
You want water?
Yes, please. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. My troubles have all gone. No one can. Thank you, sir. So, Trump's not the crazy psychopathic racist that people try to say he is. He only cares
I've
about
never
making.
thought that he was.
He only wants to make us money. He wants to make us a rich nation, and he's been saying this for a very long time. Were you out there with me when D-Day Cobra was playing the clip from 1988 with Oprah?
No.
So, I think it was Friday night. Yeah, so you were at work. So, one of the guys that I watch a lot, huge Trump guy from Florida, real big into like video games and nerd stuff, primarily video games. So, he's huge Trump lover. He pulled up a lot of clips because someone in his super chats made this asinine comment saying that Trump's only been famous for 20 years. We need to let it go. Stop idolizing him and all this other stuff. That is the dumbest thing. Like, tell me you don't know shit about Trump without telling me you don't know shit about Trump. He's only been famous for 20 years. Well, it's 2024.
So 2000.
1988.
Yeah.
He was on Oprah.
Well, I know he's been popular for a long time. Yeah.
Decades.
Yeah.
Not 20 years. No, like 40. Over 40. Probably closer to 50. Like, when that man was young and made his first couple of $100 million, people were taking notice. New York loved him, but the world loved him because he wasn't a polarizing. He's never been a polarizing figure. He wasn't polarizing until he ran for office. Until in 2015, he was like, "Hey, I'm running for office." And then all these people that were previously friends of his turned on him. He was really good friends with Whoopi Goldberg and everyone on The View. Did you know that?
No.
So are you aware of The View?
I know of
A
it.
bunch of famous women that just
Yeah.
shit on
Yeah,
conservatives.
Something I would never want to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah.
So Joy Reid is the woman who like runs it. Trump was really good friends with her. Whoopi Goldberg was one of the panelists on it forever. I don't know
knew
if she
that.
still is.
Yeah.
But Whoopi Goldberg and him were really good friends. Whoopi Goldberg, back in the 80s or 90s, asked Trump to do a cameo on one of her movies, and he did it for free.
You were telling me about this.
Yeah. They asked for, in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, they wanted to film in his hotel. He made it happen, and then they asked him if he wouldn't mind doing a cameo, and he did it for free. Like, I think it was his limousine that they used in filming, too. So,
wow.
like, the dude has always been a very giving, very friendly, very approachable man. Like, always. And people used to love him for it. But this idiot makes this comment. So Jeremy pulls up this video, and it's from 1988 when Donald Trump is on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And so 1988, a little longer than 20 years ago. And she's interviewing him, and she's talking to him, and she's like, you know, people love you. You know, she's just saying nice things and stuff and talking to him. And he's being chill because he normally is. If he's not at a rally, he's a pretty mellow guy. And she goes, well, what about, you know, a presidential bid? Do you think you'd ever run for president? And he was like, you know, I don't think so. He's like, that's a nasty business. I don't want to be involved in that. But I am really tired of seeing our country being taken for granted and taken advantage of, and we're being ripped off by every other nation on the planet. Like, if we continue going down this path and we keep getting ripped off by other countries, I might consider it. But as of right now, I don't really want to. He's never changed. That's who he's been since the 80s. Like, in the 80s, he was like, hey, other countries are ripping us off. We're losing money. We're losing workers. We're losing businesses.
Yeah.
That's not okay. And that's all he ran on in 2015. He was like, let's make America great again, which is actually a Ronald Reagan quote, which up until Trump is the greatest president in my lifetime. But that's what his campaign was make America great again. And Trump took that and ran with it because, like, yeah, we need to. Look at all of our major industry. It's all left. Like, everyone's moving out. We're too expensive to do anything here. And most of that, Trump doesn't like to say this because he needs them on their side politically, but the unions are the reason for all these things leaving, which is why I'm such an anti-union guy. Like, unions have crippled the automotive industry. They're crippling all these major industries because they've got this weird power to decide how much they're getting paid. And then they go on strike, and then all of a sudden all this money opens up and it stays at the top. It doesn't really hardly trickle down to the workers. So like the steel workers in Pennsylvania and the oil workers in Pennsylvania, they're all union guys. Well, when they go on strike, these guys aren't getting paid. But the fat cats up top, when the checks come in, they start making a bunch of money, and then they trickle a little bit down to the other guys. And then, okay, here you go. You got your couple of bucks a raise. Kick rocks.
Yeah.
Just like the stuff going on with the harbor that I was going on about a few weeks ago, which isn't resolved. It was just an executive order to make them go back to work for 90 days to cool off because it was hurting Kamala Harris. That's the only reason they decided to go back to work. But so my views don't change. My excitement for Trump is because he's finally delivering on promises, and no other presidential candidate ever has done that. They all make promises. Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then they get in office and they're like, oh, sorry, turns out I can't do that. My bad. Like, Congress said no. Like, he's actually making promises like, hey, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill. Congress can't stop him from drilling. No one can stop him.
Yeah.
So he was drilling, which is why gas was under $2 a gallon his entire presidency. Like, I was able to drive my trucks and drive them a lot. So he's running right now. The first thing I'm going to do is drill, baby, drill. I'm going to open up all of our drilling again. We're going to be a net exporter for the first time in history under his presidency, we were a net exporter. We had enough oil to sustain our own nation entirely, completely energy independent from other countries. No more oil from the Middle East, no more oil from Russia. And then we had it so much we were actually selling it to other countries.
Oh, okay.
So now we're making money on top of being able to source it cheaply and provide it for our own people cheaply. I'm very much a America first person. We should be taking care of ourselves first. You've flown on an airplane. When they're up there giving their little spiel, if the oxygen mask comes down, you put yours on first and then you put on the next person's. We should be taking care of ourselves here in this country.
Yeah.
He's delivering on that. He promised to close down the border. Obama started the wall. And this is what people don't realize and what people forget.
Yeah.
Obama ran on closing the border. There's video you can look up on YouTube. Still exists.
I know. Yeah.
So
I turned 18 after, like a few days after he was first elected.
He started it, and then it became unpopular on his side of the aisle, so he stopped. So Trump ran on it. It was very popular, and he got a lot of it done, and then they stopped. And then they opened up all the panels, and they're just letting people flood in, which cripples our economy. Like, I've got a lot of friends that are immigrants. My ex-wife, her whole family are all immigrants, like legally got here. My kids are byproducts of legal immigration. Like, I don't have a problem with it, even though I get called racist all the damn time. My kids are half Mexican. Like, kick rocks. But legal, you have to be able to monitor how many people are coming through because there's only so many jobs. There's only so much money to go around.
Yeah.
When you start throwing in a couple 100 million extra people, where are they going to live? Where are their jobs going to go? and what are they going to do to the people that are
I
here?
heard recently that they're flying him over now.
They have been.
That's crazy.
They have been for a long time.
That's wild.
So, like, my views stay. My excitement is here because this is someone who we've actually had in office for 4 years. So I didn't really have an opinion the first time around for him because I never watched The Apprentice. I just didn't really have an opinion. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Like, he's not a politician. All right. So I was just learning as I went about him. But as soon as the media started shitting on him, I was like, well, wait a minute. I bet I like this guy a lot because the media only comes out and attacks if someone's like on their radar. And if they disagree with them, I'm like, well, if CNN disagrees with him, what's he doing?
Yeah.
So I still didn't know much about him, but I know that Hillary Clinton was a very dangerous person. So I voted for Trump the first time around. And then the first year he was in office, I just kept hearing the crazy shit people were saying about him, but I didn't really I was like, whatever, he's in office, like, you people are acting like weirdos. And I didn't really follow it until he did the steel tariffs. In like his second year in office, or maybe near the end of the first, but he started doing all those tariffs, and people started complaining about Harley having to shut down a factory. And I mean, we ride Harleys. I'm surrounded by a lot of people who ride Harleys, and someone at work started complaining about it. Like, oh man, Harleys have to shut down a factory because they can't afford the steel, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? And they're like, oh man, freaking Trump put in these tariffs, and now we just can't afford steel. And I'm like, where's the steel coming from? What? Well, where's the steel coming from? If it's got a tariff, it's coming from somewhere else. It's not our steel. Why is an American motorcycle company not using our steel? It opened my eyes to the fact that Harley wasn't even using American product. And I was like, well, then who gives a shit, dude? Like, if it's an American motorcycle, they should be using American parts. They're always saying proudly built in America. Why aren't you using American steel? Hell, the steel coming out is only a state away from one of your factories. Like, why aren't you, it's 200 miles. Like, why aren't you trucking in that steel? You're shipping it from China to save money? Yeah, fuck you, dude. And at that point, I was like, I think I like Trump. And then I started paying attention. Yeah. And that's when I really started noticing. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm making more money. Yeah. Like, it's easy to get raises now. And then the biggest thing for me is I had left my company and went to a different division of my own company. And they wanted me back at the division I'm in now. And they offered me $10 more an hour to come back. Okay. In less than a year. I got a $10 raise being gone less than a year. Wow. Because Trump's economy was that damn good. Yeah. Like, I wasn't worth that much money at that time.
I remember him because when he was in office, I remember everything being a lot better.
Shit was smooth, man.
But like the thing that gets me, and like that I'll never understand about politics, or at least I don't think I'll ever understand about politics, is everything was great and then everything got turned to shit in 4 years. And then if he gets back in office, he can make everything level again and make everything the way he had it. But then I worry about what comes after.
That's fair, dude. That's really fair. So that's where, in a lot of these cases, you have to steel man the good things he does, and he has to be able to get them to where they operate and function so well that people don't want to vote someone in who's willing to change those things. Yeah. And
he's so hated, though.
He that's changing because people are really paying attention to what's going on because things got so bad. Okay. So there's another guy that I watch a little bit of named Dan Bongino. He was a Secret Service agent forever, and he was a Secret Service agent under Obama. So he knows a lot of the inside baseball when it comes to being around a president for a long period of time. And he's a very conservative guy. And he talks about I think I just lost part of what I was trying to get at. But he talks about like the hatred and the vitriol for people and all of that crap. Damn it. I just lost, I started talking about him and then I completely blanked where I was going with that. What did you just say right before I started talking about?
That he was so hated.
What the hell was my point? Damn it. I just lost my point.
You were kind of telling me how it's changing now.
So Dan Bongino says his big saying is it's not bad enough yet. So like when the red wave didn't happen in 2020. And then in 2022, he was like, it's not bad enough yet. So things had to get to this point where people are like, dude, what is going on? And you can't avoid it anymore. And CNN can't cover the tracks of the people in the White House anymore. Like, it's bad. You're still going to have the people that vote blue no matter who. Like, they're going to vote Democrat no matter what.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just blinders on. They will not talk to someone like me. I'm the devil. I'm the worst thing that ever happened. All this other crazy shit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad enough yet. It is now bad enough that people are going, well, wait a minute. Hold on. You're telling me that the dude who 4 years ago, like, I was making good money, I could make my car payment, I could make my house payment, and I could buy a flat screen.
He even did the stimulus stuff too.
Yeah, he did stimulus stuff, and then they try saying that Biden did stimulus. All Biden's stimulus was giving you your taxes early. So, and people didn't put this together until tax season. And they were like, well, wait a minute. Why am I only getting back this much money on my return? They're like, well, because we paid you $6,000 throughout the year between 2 different checks. That was the income tax you would get for having all those kids. So now you don't get anything back. And they're like, what the hell? And everyone kind of swept it under the rug. There was no way to opt out of it. So I got my tax money in like June or July, and I'm like, I don't want it. Leave it the hell alone. I'll get it at the end I'll get it at the beginning of next year, like I always do. And so they called it a stimulus. Well, it's not a stimulus.
No.
You're just giving me my money early.
Yeah.
And that's not, I don't want it early. Like, personally, I always use my tax return to do one big purchase at the beginning of the year. Like, one year I bought a project truck with that money. Like, that got me my project truck, and then I was able to slowly rebuild it and finance rebuilding it throughout the year. But now you've given me my money way early, and you're only giving it to me in pieces. So now I have to try to set it aside in a failing economy. So now that money gets spent. So now when that time comes around at the beginning of the year, I don't get to start my yearly project.
Yeah.
Like, it just threw a huge wrench in the works for everybody. And then your people that have like 6 kids that rely on that to like buy a new car at the beginning of the year or whatever, didn't have that money because they got it throughout the year and wasted it on shit throughout the year.
Yeah.
And now they get here thinking they're, oh yeah, man, this stimulus check's badass, and then I'm gonna get my tax return too. And then they're like, oh yeah, you're getting back $400.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What about the $2,000 per kid? Like, yeah, you got that already. You didn't get that piece of paper in the mail from the government saying, hey, here's your receipt for when I paid you your money.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a stimulus.
No.
You're giving me my money. Give me something else. That's a stimulus.
Yeah.
So I've been saying this since Obama was first in office, when he bailed out the airplane companies back then. And then they've done it like several times since. How about stop? And the automobile industry. Like, I worked for Ford when they were handing those checks out. And I'm like, how about stop bailing out these big ass companies? And you argue that trickle down economics doesn't work, but that's exactly what you're trying to do. So politically, you're saying, no, that trickle down economics doesn't work. We can't give tax breaks to millionaires because it doesn't work. But then you're paying off debt for millionaires,
Yeah.
expecting it to trickle down. You can't have it both ways. And most people don't talk about this. So yeah, back to your point though, they can undo shit. And that's why it got so bad.
Yeah.
Because Trump was fixing things. And then they came through, and in day one, they shut down all of the oil manufacturing. Boom, shut them down.
Yeah.
It's the first thing Biden did. And then started opening the border and just started systematically undoing everything. At this point, it got to be so bad that people are going, well, wait a minute, Trump's not that bad. And then now people are really paying attention, and they're going out of their way to try to hear him talk. And they're trying to see him on podcasts and all that stuff, and they want to hear him.
Yeah.
And the beautiful,
I do got to admit, I've seen it because I've seen him on a few, like, just personally on my own, and
Yeah.
I've seen a few from you. One thing that I like that he does is he mixes in like genuine personality with like his politics and stuff.
Yep.
And so,
Yes, he does.
And I feel like he's matured a lot more.
He's
over the
chilled out.
He's chilled out a lot more, and he's not as crazy. Because that was something I didn't like about him the first time around, was how like loud he was about stuff. It was
fair.
It was off putting to me.
That's fair, but because now I'll just explain it. Because I was watching it, so I see it. When you're being attacked every day and being called the worst things possible when you know it's not true, every day for years, you're going to defend yourself pretty loud.
Yeah, literally for 4 years.
Like, yeah, when you're being called a,
racist and everything.
Yeah, and like a woman abuser, then like, because you can't say the R word.
Retard?
Well, you can say that one.
Okay.
Not the one when it comes to
the
women.
R word. R
yeah.
word. Okay.
No, actually, YouTube just freed up the retard word again.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that was a blocked word for a long time. So don't be retarded. But yeah, dude, when you're being called,
I grew up
like,
saying that.
well, me too.
Yeah.
And the G word, calling all your buddies gay.
The thing is, I can't remember who said it, but somebody put it really well. You never call somebody
that is
that.
Yeah.
You call your friends retarded.
Yeah. Yeah, you never actually say it to someone who is.
You say it to somebody that's doing something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's retarded.
Yeah.
Dude, the Bostonians are the king of it.
Yeah.
And I'm related to a lot of them. So, like, I mean, you've met my stepmom. Like, dude, her brother's from Southie.
Okay.
So, like, he's got the aggression.
Super thick accent.
And super thick. And that's just like, man, what are you being so retarded for? So he come over there and hurt you? Like, he just, like, when you watch The Town.
Yeah.
Like, that's him.
Great movie.
As a person. Like,
I can't believe we've never talked about The Town.
And he's big.
We need to do a like bank robbery movie.
Yeah, dude,
reviews.
I love heist movies.
Me too.
Heist movies are my.
You gotta watch
my
Lions
favorite.
then.
I will at some point.
Okay.
But anyway, so
Sorry.
so with the with changing things, that's where having a strong VP like JD Vance, dude, I'm so fucking sold on JD Vance, bro.
Then it's got to be just so nerve-wracking to like hope that he gets elected.
It is,
second
dude.
time around.
It is, but this is also where it becomes important to vote local. It's really important to vote.
I agree with
in
you
the
on
other
that.
elections because you need to be paying attention to like who your governor is, who your city officials are, who your mayor is, who your board of teachers.
Well, it's because, like you said, you want small government, so you want state-run. You want state to be basically,
dude.
like per state, like everybody.
The
to
federal
have their
government.
own.
Not here's a wild one for you. I don't know if what you do know, so I'm not.
Okay.
So, did you know it's illegal constitutionally for the federal government to own state land?
I didn't know that.
Okay, the government owns an awful lot of Arizona.
Okay.
The federal government. Arizona doesn't
like national
own
parks and stuff.
Not just that. Arizona doesn't own a lot of Arizona.
Really?
So if you go out like to my dad's house because it's farther out than your grandpa's, the dirt roads that you would continue going down, that's go out there. That's all state. It used to be state land. It's federal land.
Oh, okay.
So the farm I grew up on backed up to state land. So we had a whole lot more. We had a couple thousand more acres of just desert we could go roam around on, and we had our own shooting range and stuff. Eventually, the federal government seized that land, fenced it all off, and then we couldn't go on that property anymore.
Really?
It's federal land. Yeah, the federal government owns an awful lot of state land.
And constitutionally, that's illegal.
Constitutionally, it's illegal. It's up to the state. State is supposed to own, so like you said with parks, states are supposed to own those parks. The federal government's the one who actually owns them and runs them.
Yeah.
Not state. So like Yosemite should be owned by its state, and it's not. It's actually owned and protected by the federal government. It's illegal. There's not supposed to be any.
So why does it happen?
Enough crooked ass politicians high enough up wrote in crazy goofball laws that
Is there
made
money
it a
involved
thing.
with it?
Oh, dude, for sure.
Really?
Yeah. You know how much money it cost me to go to the freaking Grand Canyon and Moab this year?
How much?
It cost me, I think it was $60 to get into Grand Canyon for a day, and then it's super expensive to buy anything there and to eat there and all that other fun stuff. And that's just one
and all
rim.
that kicks up to the federal government.
All that goes back to the federal government's pockets.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it didn't go into Arizona's pockets.
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
That's kind of scary.
the federal government is not supposed to own anything.
So is that something that can be undone?
It could, but you need to get congressmen that aren't worthless
Yeah.
to come in and be like, "Hey, we're done with this.
Yeah.
Like, no, give this back to the states. You're not allowed to own it." Like, technically speaking, the federal government's not supposed to own like the air base.
Okay.
They own all that property.
Oh, really?
The largest boneyard in the country
Yeah.
is right here in Tucson.
Yep.
That's all federally owned.
Okay.
It's Arizona land.
Yeah.
Should be owned by the state.
Not
State
owned
doesn't
by
own
the
any of
state.
that, dude.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Davis Monthan's all owned by the federal government.
That's crazy.
Yep. And it shouldn't be. It should be owned by the state and then leased to the federal government.
Yeah.
Nope. Feds own all that shit.
So who is in charge of that when it comes to like Arizona?
Congress.
Congress.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's
So
and even our state
who
Congress.
would be who would be the person you're voting for this year
for
for that?
our Congress? I'm trying to I think that one's Daniel, the one with the sign out front. If I remember right, he's running for Congress. AZ.
So every state has a congressman, right?
Every state has several.
Several congressmen.
Yeah, that Congress is depending on how many. It's per capita.
Okay.
So it's how many people you have. So Arizona congressional districts, and mine is, currently Ruben Gallego is the piece of shit who's in my, and we just got redistricted too. So that's why it's a kind of a pain in the ass for me to try to figure out, because our district just got shifted because they're trying to change things based on, let's see. So we have,
Trump's winning right now, right?
yes, according to polls. But even J.D. Vance today was like, don't follow the polls. Don't pay attention.
Why do you not follow the polls?
Because it's it's not. He actually explained this really well today. He was on with Theo today.
Oh, was he?
J.D. Vance. Yeah,
I'll check
bro.
it out.
It's really fun.
Because I don't know
2
anything about
hours.
JD Vance.
2 hours, bro.
I don't know anything about him.
I love J.D. Vance.
Okay.
I can't wait
You've
to
told me
vote
that
for
you like
him
him a lot.
after Trump.
That's what you told me.
I'm going to vote for. I want him to be in the office in the White House for 12 years.
Is he a conservative too?
Yes. He's a congressman from Ohio.
Okay.
Did you watch the Hillbilly Elegy movie with me?
I don't think
The
so.
one about the boy growing up with his grandma raising him,
I
and
saw
he was a
bits and
college
pieces of
boy
it. Yeah, I saw
after.
bits and
That's
pieces of it.
that's him.
Okay.
He wrote a book. It's his life. He wrote a book and then became a huge seller, like a number one bestseller.
Mhm.
And then they made that movie
Based on the
based
book.
on the book.
Okay.
So that's his life.
Okay.
So with like his mother in like hardcore drug abuse and all that. So like his mother is in January, his mother's gonna be celebrating 10 years sobriety.
Oh, cool.
So like perfect to have him on with Theo.
Yeah.
Super relatable. Like he cusses a couple. He's like, "Oh, sorry, man. Like try not to drop the F-bomb." He's like, and Theo starts laughing. He's like, "No, dude, you say whatever you want on here." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but if I say the F word too much, I might lose some votes." And he goes, "All right, man. Well, once you drop 7 or 8 of them, I'll tap you on the shoulder and let you know to stop."
I love Theo so much.
but you'll see that JD is firing back,
Yeah.
dude. And there's a few things I don't want to give them away because they are. Theo's like the king of the weird one-liner.
Yeah.
Like the obscure,
Oh, I
like
know. Yeah.
like wait, what?
Yeah. What did you just
Like,
say?
dude, that's
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah.
He throws out a few, and JD's like he dies laughing,
Yeah.
and he goes, "I'm stealing that." So like, there's one line that I really want to say, but I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
But it's that.
I'm gonna
good.
listen to it tonight.
It's that good. There's
Okay.
one line, and you're gonna know it, and because JD's like, "I'm stealing that. I'm gonna wait until I'm in the White House, and then I'm gonna steal it because if I say that before then, I might lose some votes." But there's something that he says, and it's something about making America great again.
Okay.
Like it's Theo's so
I
fantastic.
love him.
But JD, like, and I love going through the comments after someone like JD or Trump has been on with just like a normal podcast I already listen to, especially with a comedian, and watching the comments of people going like, "Dude, everyone's been trying to tell me he's weirdo. Like, he's the most down to earth dude ever.
Yeah.
Like, he's so personable. He's so friendly. He's
Well,
so
I got
funny.
that. I got that same reaction when I watched Trump on Theo.
Yeah, dude, he's
Because
super
I had
chill.
not really avoided him, but just didn't really like.
Had no interest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I watched him, and I was like, I like the guy.
Yeah, but now imagine having the dude who's been in the White House
Yeah.
and is going to try, and he's trying again.
Yeah.
He's the most hated person on the planet, and he's asking you about your sobriety.
Yeah.
He's not talking about him.
Yeah.
He was actually like actively like, "Oh, well, well, what's that like? Oh, okay, well, what about that?" Like, he's having a real, and it's not fake. You
Yeah.
can tell it. He's not just like, "Oh, well, I mean, what's up with your sobriety? Oh, that's cool. So what about
Yeah.
like, what did you?"
He was engaged.
He's like, oh wow, like I mean, I've never done that. I've never done any drugs.
Yeah.
But like, so tell me about that. Like, what do you have to go through? Like when you relapse, like what's that like? Like
Yeah.
like he was actually interviewing Theo about his drug use.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's important to Trump.
Yeah.
Now that's important to Trump because his brother died because he was an alcoholic and a drug user.
Yeah.
JD Vance's mom was a full tilt drug user for like 40 years. He
Yeah.
was raised by his grandmother because of it.
Yeah.
These things matter to him. So when they're talking about this stuff, now how many people do you think in America have a drug or alcohol issue?
A lot.
Would you want someone in office that gives a shit?
Yes.
Like, because if the government is going to do its job and take care of its people, do you think they might figure out a way to make like a way to help people who are struggling?
Yes.
And
Because just giving out clean needles isn't the solution.
dude, that's no, it's literally the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
You're feeding
Engaging,
into
yeah.
like,
Enabling.
yeah, you need to find ways to help these people
Yeah.
get away from that. And Trump and JD, it's personal for them.
Yeah.
JD even more so than
'Cause of
with,
his mom.
with Trump. Like, so it's such a good interview, and I'm so glad they went on with Theo because it makes sense for both.
I'll
of
check it
them
out.
because of Theo's history.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes sense, and I think Theo brings out so much good in both of them. Like, I mean, JD, I've already watched a bunch of interviews with him, and I had no idea who he was. I was re-roofing the gym when you came out, when Trump announced him, and you're like, "Hey, what are you doing? What do you listen to?" And I was like, "The president, like Trump just announced his vice president." You're like, "Oh, who is he?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I've never heard of him before." Like, I had no idea. So I've only got a few months of knowing anything about
Yeah.
him, and I'm already like, dude,
Into him.
he's genuine.
Yeah.
Well, he's what's he, 40, 42?
Oh, okay.
Like, dude,
Don't you have to be a certain
fucking
age to be
my
president?
age. To be president, you have to be, is it 35, 40?
35.
It's pretty young, but we haven't had a young president since like Kennedy. Presidential age requirement, 35.
35.
So yeah, he's old enough. Hell, I'm old enough.
Yeah. You gonna run?
Sure. Yeah, I don't think I'd
Be
get
the first bearded president.
single vote, dude. Yeah. Well, JD will be if he gets it.
Really?
Yeah, dude, because he's like you. He's not
Oh, okay.
big old caveman, but dude, I would rock it. I wouldn't shave.
Yeah.
If I was running for any office, this is how I'd look.
Yeah.
I'd be out there in like a kind of fit, kind of fat shirt or an Under Armour shirt, freaking hat. Might get a vote from Kevin Ferris for wear his hat. But yeah, the biggest thing is getting Congress. So it all comes down to voting for everything, not just president.
Okay.
You'd have to vote in a Congress that's going to, because that's the whole point of our system is a checks and balances. That's why it's a three-party system. Like, you have three different separate entities that are supposed to be doing a job, and they're all supposed to keep themselves in check. So it's not just one guy in the White House going like, here, I rubber stamp this is what happens, and I'm a dictator. Even though they tried calling him a dictator, it's like, well, what do you think Congress is for?
Yeah.
Congress is there to keep him in check. You know, the president can only has one branch of the military that he directly controls that without having to go to Congress.
Secret Service?
No.
Oh.
The Marines.
Oh, really?
The Marines answer directly to the president.
Okay.
Everyone else, so he can just send the Marines anywhere he wants.
Really?
He can be like, hey, there's a problem in Afghanistan.
Send the
Go.
Marines. Yeah.
And he doesn't have to talk to Congress. But that's the way they designed the Marines. It's not today's president's fault, like that someone decided that back in the day.
Yeah.
So, but if he wants to send any troops to anywhere else in the world, he has to go through Congress and be like, hey, I want to send all of our troops to Taiwan. We're declaring war on China because they're invading Taiwan. Like, you have to go through Congress to approve that, to actually enact war.
Yeah.
But he can just send the Marines to the border and be like, hey, shore up the border, and Congress can't do shit to stop
Wow,
him.
that's cool.
But if he wants to send the army to the border, he has to go through Congress.
Okay.
So there's a lot of checks and balances with all that. And then the president, again, because Trump wasn't a freaking dictator, do you remember the stuff, Chaz or Chop?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was trying to get Washington to send in the National Guard. He was like, guys, send in the National Guard. Let's clear this up. and ask me for help. Tell me you want me to send in troops, and I will send in troops.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're good. We don't want to. And he was like, please send in your National Guard. And they're like, no, we refuse. But then they spin it to where it's, oh, Trump didn't do anything. It's like, well, either Trump could have been the dictator you're calling him
Yeah.
and forced troops into Washington, which would have been a huge nightmare, politically speaking, for him. But it would have been a good thing for the poor people who were losing their property and getting shot.
Yeah.
So he didn't do the dictator thing, begged a state to do the thing that they're designed to do, and they refused to do it. And the same thing happened in Minnesota and Wisconsin and all these other Democrat states. They refused to send in their own troops. They have their own troops. Every state has its own National Guard. You can pull them in whenever you want.
Yeah.
None of these states did it. You have all this crazy rioting, people get hurt, like things getting stolen, billions of dollars worth of personal damage. Like, no one did anything.
Yeah.
And Trump legally could only offer aid. And he was like, and give advice. Like, dude, what do you need from me? Do you need troops? Tell me you need troops. And they were like, no, we're good.
2020 was a rough year.
Dude, 2020 was a shit show.
Yeah, it was.
And it was all political.
That was the exit, too, of Afghanistan, wasn't it? Wasn't that the end of 2020? Or was that 2021?
Well, that depends, because they just where the people just died.
Where they pulled everybody out.
They've done it a couple of times. Trump.
It was the really big one.
Well, Trump tried.
It was after Trump, because I think it was
Biden's
office.
It was only after Trump, because Trump told them to do it, and they lied to him and kept troops overseas. Like, they've never fully removed everybody, but yeah,
it's when they rearmed the Taliban. I remember when they rearmed the Taliban.
That was under him. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. That was under Biden.
Yeah, that was wild.
And then
rough couple of years,
dude.
Yeah, it's
there's so much wrong with the world right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
And peace-loving nations want Trump back in office, like other countries.
Yeah,
peace-loving nations want him. The war-loving nations don't want him.
Yeah,
because he keeps all their asses in check.
Yeah.
So like Iran right now, Iran is stepping back up and putting on their big boy pants, thinking they want to go toe-to-toe. Well, if we have a weak-ass president that's willing to make deals with them and give them whatever they want and stay out of their way, they're very happy.
Yeah.
Trump wasn't that guy. Trump made Iran broke.
Yeah.
Made them poor because they weren't able to sell their oil to anybody. Russia wasn't able to sell oil to anybody. He shut down their pipeline because Russia was trying to build the Nord Stream pipeline.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, you're not doing it. Try it. F around and find out. Like, if you try building that, I will like put you on notice. And so Putin was like, okay. So all these people were like, oh, he's in Putin's pocket. Really? Because he stopped Putin from making a shitload of money on oil.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's stupid thing you've said one. Like, so as soon as Biden came in office, he was like, he just let him. And then they built the pipeline and start making a bunch of money. And then we were stopping everyone from removing themselves from the petrodollar under Trump, because if we lose the petrodollar, we're fucked as a nation. That's it for us. The only thing that makes us worth anything is the fact that the rest of the world uses the dollar bill to buy oil from everywhere else. Well, China, Iran, and Russia are all kind of colluding to go off of the petrodollar, and they're trying to get the entire Middle East and everywhere else off of the petrodollar. If they get rid of the dollar bill, we're done. Like, we have no other export. We have no reason, and we have no power. Like, that will cripple us financially as a nation. And not just like the '08 collapse where it's just housing that gets hit and then a little bit of everything else. Like, this will cripple everything. So the army won't be buying bullets anymore. Like, yeah, we're done. So Trump is like, this stuff wouldn't be happening if I was in office.
Yeah.
Iran was poor when I was here. They weren't starting nothing. They were poor. We sank most of their fleet off of the coast, and they were poor. And now they've got billions of dollars again, and they're starting up a nuclear project again. And Trump stopped that too.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about a country that already hates us. They're getting money again. If we have weak leadership, they're going to continue making money. They're going to continue ramping up their ability to really damage the rest of the world with nukes. and they're willing to use them because they hate America.
Yeah.
They are willing to use them. Like, the Middle East doesn't like us, generally speaking. I know not everybody, but generally speaking, they don't like us. And yeah, the whole thing's a shit show, dude.
It's just the scariest thing to me is the fact that it's only for 4 years.
Yeah, well, it's because he already ran 4.
I know, but that's
If they'd have
that's
just,
what's,
well, here's
that's what's
when you hear
scary.
the craziest thing. If they'd have just shut the hell up and left him alone, in a couple of weeks, he would be someone
Out of
else would be
office.
voted
Yeah.
in, and then in January, and then he'd basically be lame duck for a month or 2 months, I guess, and then in January he'd be handing over the keys to the kingdom
Yeah.
to somebody else, and we'd be done. Like
Yeah.
the Trump era would be over. But instead, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey man, so you just drug this out for 12 years when you could have just had it over in 8.
Yeah.
But they were hoping to get him out and basically put him in prison or make him run away and hide
Yeah.
because they're afraid of him. Now, what happens when the big bad bastard who's about to make change rolls in and start busting up the mob, who's been living that sweet, sweet life, getting all that protection money from all the restaurants
Yeah.
in a small town, and then the big badass gunslinger comes into town? They all want to kill the gunslinger.
Yeah.
Just what happened in Tombstone here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Like,
At the OK Corral.
yeah, dude, the Cowboys were running shit, doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then you get a couple of badass gunslingers roll into town, and they all like, well, we're going to kill these
Doc
lawmen.
Holliday.
Yeah, we're like, no, we can't have these lawmen. They're a threat to our power.
Yeah.
And then they found out. So it's the same thing. Like, but the biggest question anyone watching this or anyone out there in the country needs to ask themselves, the only question that matters, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
I don't think so.
That's it. That's all you need to decide for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, can you sustain everything progressively getting worse for the next 4 years?
No.
Can you afford higher gas prices? Can you afford higher egg prices and higher produce prices?
Yeah. Milk.
Like,
Dude, milk is like $4.75 a gallon.
and what's crazy is Shamrock Farms is only an hour and a half away,
Wow.
and we're paying that price.
That's wild.
Like, yeah, Shamrock Farms,
And
is
that's
in
at Family
Phoenix.
Dollar.
Yeah. But Shamrock,
That's the cheap milk.
Shamrock Farms is right here, and it's just off of the 10 in Phoenix.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, I could be there in an hour and 20 minutes right now, and milk is that expensive. And what's even crazier is during the COVID horse shit, they were saying weird stuff about milk, and they were just dumping tankers of milk into the desert
Really?
all through COVID, because they were like, "Oh, COVID's in the milk," and they were just Shamrock Farms was just dumping
Milk.
What's that? 30? It's almost 30,000. No, I think the tankers. So tanker on a rail car is like 50,000. So they'd say like 20 to 30,000 gallons in those tankers on a big rig.
Jeez.
They were just opening the valves,
That's
dumping
wild.
milk into the culverts, the big
Yeah.
ass where rivers would run through when
Yeah.
there's water, but there's no
River and
water.
milk.
So they were just
That's crazy.
dumping milk, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to be buying milk because there could be COVID in it, like E. coli in chicken. Like, yeah, and then they found out it wasn't a thing. It's like, yeah, but you just wasted
All this milk.
all this milk.
Yeah.
You could have just been giving it away for pennies on the dollar or
Yeah.
for free, and instead you just
Wasted it.
wasted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking joke, dude. Whole thing's sideways. But, anyways, yeah. So you don't believe that someone should lose their entire livelihood or career because of a political opinion?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think that's very
It's
silly.
weird. It's almost like you think like a normal person.
Well, it's just childish. It's
It
like-
is.
it's schoolyard shit. It's like your friend because you're friends because you're friends with this guy. All of a sudden, you're ostracized from everybody else, and you're not cool.
No.
I was always friends with the weird. I was always friends with the weird kid.
I think you always were the weird kid.
I was, always the weird kid. But I was always friends with the weird kid, and like I was always friends with the one that nobody wanted to hang out with.
Same, dude.
And it,
Same.
like I just always bonded with those people a lot more than I did with like the big groups of people, and that's pretty much what it feels like. It feels like at that time, like when you would do that, you would be all of a sudden you would become this weird person.
Yeah, you're not cool
and you're not cool.
by association.
But it's just it doesn't make it. I don't get it. I don't get
No,
it.
it's a really
I
good way to
I-
put it.
I disagree with it wholeheartedly.
No, that's a really good way to put it. I haven't thought of it that way, but that's true. Like, I mean, I was friends with a bunch of, what other people would consider
Outcasts.
were losers or whatever.
Yeah,
I didn't give a shit.
Me neither.
Like, I was a popular guy. Like, I was friends with everybody.
see, I was the same way in high school.
and like
I
didn't.
had tons of friend groups. Like I could always bounce around between all kinds of different walks of life.
That's all I did was bounce
Yeah.
around, dude. I was
Yeah,
bobbing and weaving between everybody.
I was friends with the baseball guys because I played baseball. I was friends with weirdos, drama kids.
See, I was in drama, so I was friends with all the drama kids. I was a cross country runner, so I was friends with all of those guys and the track and field guys. I was friends with football guys because I had a lot of friends that were football players. Friends with basketball players, baseball players because I had friends in all of that. I was friends with all the burnouts and stoners.
Yep.
I was friends with all the shit kickers because I grew up on a farm. Like, friends with all the car guys, all the ag guys, all the welders. I mean, everywhere I went,
Yeah.
I had friends, and none of them cared whether I was coming or going. If I'm there hanging out playing wall ball with all my stoner friends, I was doing that.
Yeah.
If I was hanging out, because a bunch of us had a very underground, sneaky boxing club.
Fight Club.
So we had boxing gloves, like legit boxing gloves, and it started off as someone bringing in boxing gloves, and I mean I could box. I grew up boxing, like legit boxing, so I could box even though I was a small guy. And it started off as friends just like screwing around and wanting to box, because I mean if you're boxing and you're not actually trying to like for real
Hurt
box
somebody, yeah.
like it's just fun athletic
sparring.
thing to do, So we just spar for a while, and then eventually people were like, well, hey, let's box for real. And I'm like, okay. And then so it turned into people like, if you didn't like someone, instead of getting suspended or arrested,
Yeah.
you just throw on some gloves, go into this one area, throw down for a few minutes until you're both gassed,
Ours was the guy's locker room.
and then you're done.
Yeah.
Like, well, at the time they were building the new gym at Marana High, so between the old cafeteria, which was still the cafeteria, and the new gym, which was still being built and like fenced off and narrow walkways and stuff, we found a way we could get back there, and no one ever went back there. And my uncle was actually an electrician on the build of that job, so every once in a while I'd see him. But we'd tuck back over there because no monitors or anyone ever went over there. And it's high school, dude. There's a lot. Like at that point, most teachers like just want to be left the hell alone during lunch. So yeah, we'd go over there. We'd box, like, and sometimes you get some dudes that are like for real boxing, and then other times you got dudes that are just sparring, but it was just a fun athletic way to burn off energy at lunch. And so we do that. I hung out with a lot of skaters, and like I wasn't very good at it, but I did it. So we do that, and I just float around. Like I never gave a shit. Like I don't care. I've never cared anything about anything. Like if we have a shared interest, we're good. That's all we need. Like, and we don't have to have a huge overlap.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, do you guys are playing hacky sack? Can I hop in? And don't know anyone in that group. And by the time I leave, I've made at least one friend. And like, I'm like, all right, bro, you guys out here every day or what? Like, while you're kicking around, you're like, hey man, whoever happens to be standing near you, hey man, how often are you guys over here? I'm like, oh, do every day at lunch. I'm like, oh, cool, man. You like, and then if I'm done, I'm like, hey, you mind if I come hang out again sometime? Like, yeah, dude, whatever, whenever. We're always here. That's all it takes, like, to become like, oh, hey, yeah, we're friends now. Like, and then you run into them somewhere else. So, what were you gonna say?
So, if Trump gets in office again, do you think it'll be another 4 years of him being smeared by media constantly?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that if we take Congress, if we take a really strong position in Congress, all the other horse shit will stop. Politics are always going to be politics.
Yeah.
No matter who's in office, you're going to get one side talking shit about them.
Yeah, but you had people talking shit about Biden, but it was like jokey stuff. You didn't have anybody talking.
He was a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't have anybody talking about his politics. Like,
but he didn't really have any.
I know, but like it's crazy.
I know what you're saying.
The difference
the
that you have
vitriol
between
is
the two of them.
insane
Yeah.
for him.
And like something that gets me, like you had asked about if somebody should lose their career over endorsing somebody. You don't see any, like, in my opinion, Kamala Harris is like evil incarnate.
Agreed.
Like
I agree
I
wholeheartedly.
don't think she's a very good person.
No.
I think she's very sneaky and sly, and I don't think that she has dishonest. I don't think she has like the average person's best interest in mind.
Not at all.
Nobody's losing their career or their life over endorsing her.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
To me,
people are actually going further in some of their careers in some cases by
endorsing her.
her. Yeah.
But it doesn't. I don't get that. Like, I just don't. I don't get how there's not two sides of a fence. How it's one-sided only.
That's
like I don't get how you can hate one guy to the end of the earth, and you can't. And it's like you're not allowed to hate this person.
And that's exactly why people like me are so loud about it, because of the hypocrisy of it all.
Okay.
Now, if we had a third person sitting here and they disagreed with me on like 80% of what I was talking about, and then you're here being kind of a neutral person, yeah, and then you're here being a neutral entity that doesn't really have a horse in the race, and then from my standpoint, like, we're all equal and all of our opinions are equally valid. Now, there can be things that are inaccurate. I can be inaccurate with something I'm saying, and whether I mean it to be or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
If I'm being inaccurate, that someone else calls me on it, like, that's fair, and that's how normal life works.
Yeah.
Like, if I say something and you're like, "Oh no, bro, that movie came out in 15, not 13," then I'm just wrong. But it's not like I'm trying to be like, "I know it's 15."
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, "Oh, my bad, bro." Like,
Yeah.
and then we move on. And that's how real life should be.
Yeah.
But the way
so simple, right?
Yeah, the way people have gotten it to this like foaming at the mouth, resentment level for anyone that disagrees with you.
See, and that's where
it's fucking insanity.
Yeah, and that's where I don't like it. Because
and what's really fucked up is Trump's not trying to do that.
Yeah.
That's the media has been doing that.
Yeah.
Like, we both know an awful lot of derby women. We've both either dated or married derby women.
Yeah.
So the whole grab them by the comment that Trump made when locker room talk, right?
Where did he even make that comment at?
He was having a conversation with a journalist on a bus, and it was before an interview. The dude started talking to him about stuff because Trump used to be the Miss America pageant judge.
Okay.
Like, he ran the Miss America pageant.
Yeah.
Dude's been surrounded by tens his whole friggin' life.
Yeah.
And being a billionaire, I mean, they make movies about stuff like this. When a man is wealthy and fun to be around, women tend to flock towards him.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason Bruce Wayne had 2 women stacked in his Lamborghini passenger seat.
Yeah.
Like,
and when he landed on the I got another line for you too. Don't remind me at the end of this to give you another line to end with.
Okay.
But when he lands the helicopter and he gets out with 3 chicks.
Yes. Like, he didn't do that because he's good looking. It's because he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like,
money tracks.
Yeah, dude. So it's reality.
It's common sense.
It's just reality.
Yeah.
Gold diggers are a real thing.
Yeah.
So when you're Donald Trump and you're surrounded by all these gorgeous women, you're going to have an awful lot of opportunity to be with a lot of gorgeous women.
Yeah.
And he was. And so his comment was, because the guy was talking to him about this, but it was supposed to be off the record. He wasn't supposed to be recording.
Okay.
So it's a hot mic situation.
Gotcha.
It's not like he was like in the middle of an interview. He was just like, "Oh, by the way, I do this thing." So it was just like dudes talking, like you would do with your boys or whatever. And they were talking about this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, just women just." And he was talking about how women throw themselves at him, and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you just walk up and just go like, 'Hey, honey, here we go.'" And he goes, "What? You do that?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, they love it." Like, because he's just being direct.
Yeah.
He's like, these women are over here batting their eyes, and I'm like, "All right, come here, what's up, girl?"
Yeah.
And then there's like, "Yes," and then they go to a room.
Yeah.
Like, he was talking about how easy it is and has been in his life to just get with a lady.
Women, yeah.
Like, and the world went nuts.
Yeah.
And
I remember when that happened.
And
everybody lost their mind.
Derby was insane.
Yeah, I bet.
And I'm like, you nasty women have said way more insane shit than him.
And done more insane shit.
Exactly. And then you're going to be pissed at him for saying that?
Yeah, it's
like, lesbians have said way
worse,
way nastier things. And and they're quick to tell you stories about their sex life, and they talk way more crass than that.
Yeah.
But they're the first ones to get pissed at all this.
Confirmation bias. is
Yeah,
what it
it's
feels
like, wait a minute, like hypocrisy much?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I'm like, no, man, you can't be pissed at that because Tuesday you were telling me about some crazy ass story about some chick you pulled,
Yeah.
like, and the wild stuff you were doing.
Yeah.
And it was way more graphic than that.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. Like, stop being pissed at this. And I was the bad guy for like calling him on it. It's like, no, dude, you can't be a hypocrite. Like, you can't be blaming some dude for pulling, and then you're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But because he's a guy, it's bad. Like, what's the line? Is it because he's a Republican? Is it because he tried running on the Democrat ticket and they wouldn't allow it?
Really?
He was a lifelong Democrat. Now, he's always been a kind of a centrist because he only cares about making money. Whoever gives him the best tax incentives and whoever has the best business deals, he votes for.
Yeah.
But he donated to the Clintons for like ever. Like, he partied with the Clintons all the time. So because of that, that's where the one picture of him with Epstein exists.
Yeah.
Was at a Clinton Foundation party because Epstein and Bill Clinton were very good friends.
Yeah.
He was on the flight logs like 37 times or
Jeez.
whatever. Bill Clinton and Epstein were real tight. So because he was always donating to the Clintons, because the Clintons did very good by the wealthy. So you Hillary Clinton lovers out there going, oh, she's going to tax, she would have taxed the rich. No, she was the rich. She was making money off of being in the office and should be in prison for all the shit she pulled. But they were tight with the Epsteins. Both Hillary and Bill, on the flight logs and on the Secret Service information, they went to that island an awful lot.
Yeah.
Both of them. So the one picture that people keep showing of him with Epstein, it's like, nah, he wasn't boys with Epstein. He hated Epstein. It's well known that he didn't like Epstein. And he actually tried having Epstein. He actually severed. He had Epstein was trying to go into business with Trump on one deal. And this is very well documented. And after meeting Epstein, he severed all ties with Epstein and wouldn't even take a meeting with the man.
Really?
For years after that. Yeah, he was like, oh, this dude's a fucking creep. Nope, not going into business with him. No more. Whereas the Clintons were very much in business with Epstein.
That's wild.
Read a book. So yeah, dude, like he wanted to run. He initially tried, because you have to file paperwork to run for president and to run for any office really, but you have to file paperwork with that party. You'd be like, hey, I'm a Republican. I want to run for, Senate in Arizona. Here's my thing. Let me fill out the paperwork, and you have to file a bunch of paperwork, and then you're off to the races. You try to run for Senate. But you have to do the same thing as president. He tried to run on the Democrat ticket because he aligned more with the Democrats. Like, he viewed himself as more, and this is before the Overton window shifted so hard left, but he was kind of a centrist, but he's like, yeah, I'm a Democrat. I've been a Democrat forever. I want to run. And they were like, no, we don't want you. And he was like, what? And then that's when the hatred started.
Really?
No one hated Donald Trump before that. Dude, he was a fucking rock star. He had The Apprentice. Everyone loved that show.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but everyone I knew watched it. And they were like, oh my God, bro, when you did that thing with this guy or whatever. But they loved Celebrity Apprentice. For sure loved Celebrity. Oh man, check him out. He's got, when with the watch, with the clock on his necklace.
Oh,
The
Flavor
rapper.
Flav?
Flavor Flav. When Flavor Flav was on there and stuff. But anyways, so then he was like, all right, screw it.
I thought you were doing boobs.
Yeah, no, with the watch. So then he went over and he was like, okay, I'm going to file and register as a Republican and run as a Republican. And the RNC was like, okay, dude, you do you. And then took off.
Took off from there.
But yeah, he was a lifelong Democrat. And people love to look past that.
That's wild.
And he was donating to the Clintons all the time. He was partying with the Clintons all the time. Like, yeah, he was. And I can see past all that because he's doing a lot of amazing shit.
Yeah.
I don't care for the Clintons, but Bill Clinton in the 90s would have been considered a Republican today based on the shit he was saying. He was saying, there's video of him you can watch where he's giving speeches. He's saying the same shit that Trump is saying today.
Really?
That he was saying in like 94. And it's like, do you see how crazy you people have gone so far to the left?
Yeah.
That your own guy who was like a rock star, like Bill Clinton was a fucking superhero to these people. Trump is now saying the same things Clinton was saying in the 90s, but Trump's Hitler.
Yeah.
What? Like, okay, you people make no sense. Like, history doesn't matter to you. If it happened yesterday, it didn't happen. What could happen tomorrow is the only thing you care about, or what was said right now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care about real history. And what's crazy is like they called Kamala Harris the border czar for like 2 years. Oh, border czar, border czar, border czar. It's all over YouTube. You can find the clips. It exists. They said this a lot. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh no, she was not the border czar. We never called her that. She wasn't the border czar. It's like,
backpedaling.
have you ever read 1984? Like, you can't just recreate your own history because you all of a sudden
Didn't see
change your
fit,
mind.
yeah.
Like, no, she was never the border czar. That was a conservative talking point. That was a Republican. You guys made that up. No, Rachel Maddow. For 2 years, we've got files and we've got video I can play for you right now of you calling her the border czar. We never called her that at all. You did. No, we didn't. It's like, fucking serious, dude? It's recorded.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, it's just insane. Like, the insanity of
Politics
people.
are dirty.
Dude, so dirty, which is why Trump didn't want to run at all. And he said that in 88 to Oprah.
Yeah.
It's a nasty place. It's dirty.
What do you think drove him to run again?
This time around?
Yeah.
To finish off what he was trying to do.
Okay.
Because right now we are way broke as a nation.
it-
We're in a much worse position than we were when he first
When
got
he
in
started,
office.
yeah. But like, so, okay.
To reintroduce tariffs and everything.
Genuine question. He did his work.
Yep.
He got kicked out. They took over. They really fucked things up. Now he's got to work. Now he's only got 4 years to like undo everything that they did and get everything right. Do you think that's even possible?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. He'll be able to undo, I'd say probably 50% of it in the first week in office.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All he has to do is allow drilling and manufacturing to come back into play and reintroduce tariffs and reinforce tariffs that are still in act. So there are tariffs, things that he put in to tax other countries that are robbing us.
Yeah.
They're still on the books. They're just not being enforced by the Biden administration. They still exist. These are still
Yeah.
laws, but he just won't enforce them. All he has to do is go, oh, hey, yeah, China, you remember that tariff? Yeah, either you're going to stand by this or we're done, or I'll just bill you into oblivion. And they're going to play ball because they did when he introduced it.
Yeah.
They didn't like it because they, of course not. Like, you're having to pay your fair share instead of taking all of our money overseas and giving nothing back. Like no, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. And then he's going to do the same thing to Europe. He's going to do the same thing to Asia. Like, he's done. So all these tariffs are still in play. All he has to do is enforce them.
Okay.
And then all he has to do, and he's been saying this, day one, we're going to drill, baby, drill. He's going to reenact all the drilling permits. He's going to open up the ability to drill oil left, right, and center again. And that you're going to watch gas prices just go plummet, which is going to lower the cost of literally everything in this country.
Yeah.
Because everything has to get shipped somewhere in this country, and that's all on fuel.
Why doesn't the Democratic Party allow drilling?
Control. Like,
Really?
it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, that's, you're asking for my opinion. I don't know the straight fact. I know a lot of it's about, to me, the only thing that makes sense is control. Like the Green New Deal, they want green everything. So let me put this to you. California, especially LA, but like we'll call it the southern half of California.
Okay.
Because San Diego has the same problem. So you have your grid system. It's overtaxed. There's too much outlets, we'll say. So houses and buildings, everything, for the grid to handle. So you have to have rolling brownouts because you have more need for power than you do have power.
Okay.
So you don't have enough power. So you're trying to start your motorcycle and your battery just can't do it because you're pulling more than you have.
That hit home.
So I'm trying to think of ways to make it make easier sense. So you've got way too much demand for power and not enough power supply.
Yeah.
And then they're trying, so you already have that problem, right? With gasoline engine cars all over the place. But Californians love their Teslas. They hate Elon Musk now, but they love Tesla.
Do they hate Elon because he endorses Trump?
Oh, they hated him before that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they hated him the moment he bought Twitter.
Really?
Oh, yeah, dude. They started coming in that. And he still didn't care
Why?
much for Trump. He still didn't like Trump at the time. He still wasn't allowing Trump back on Twitter yet.
Oh, okay.
No, because the federal government, so the FBI was working directly with Twitter to block information from the masses about politics. So, like, did you ever hear of Hunter Biden's laptop?
Yeah.
Okay, but did you hear about it in 2020?
No.
Okay, so, I mean, not that you're on Twitter, but
Yeah.
Twitter and Facebook, the two biggest marketplaces, plus YouTube. So those are the three biggest marketplaces for information right now. They far outstretch MSNBC, CNN,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fox News,
yeah,
all that.
for sure.
So they were throttling information. So I know you remember watching literally any comic or anyone else talking about COVID. They had to be careful with what they said because YouTube would strike your video.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. They
Okay.
were throttling. It's called a shadow campaign. So they were running a shadow campaign on Twitter, blocking information about the Wuhan lab leak, COVID vaccine nonsense, if the COVID was actually that deadly, how it transmits, all that fun stuff. Any information, they just could label it misinformation, and they'd kick your tweet or whatever, or they'd block you, or eventually just ban you from Twitter. And they did the same thing on YouTube, did the same thing on Facebook. All these algorithms would just attack you. So they were throttling information, which is part of why Trump lost in the first place, because they came out and did a study that if they wouldn't have, this was the FBI who was being controlled by some nefarious bastards.
Is this why
who
he calls them
didn't
the
want
crooked
Trump.
FBI?
Oh yeah, well they are, dude. I'm probably gonna die now. So they were working directly with Twitter to keep all that information suppressed, so people couldn't hear it, so you couldn't learn about it, because the Fox News and CNN weren't. Fox News was talking about it, but CNN and everyone else wasn't.
Yeah.
So they were just like, oh, those crazy people, but they wouldn't even mention it on the left-wing media, because if that information would have gotten out, like it has now, and it's been confirmed that it's all legit, it's not bullshit, it's not a hoax, those laptops belong to him, and there are insane videos of him doing drugs and like showering with his niece or whatever, like all the crazy shit. If that information would have been verified as true and been allowed to be spread around in the marketplace of information, Biden would have lost the election.
Yeah.
Based on that alone. Because people would have been like, oh shit, this is for real. This is the crazy shit this family's up to. And they wouldn't have voted for him. They've already done the research and done a lot of polling and stuff. They decided by that one piece of information, Trump would have won the re-election.
I have a conspiracy question for you.
Hmm.
Do you think that he won the second election with the votes?
I lean towards yes.
Okay.
I think that there was,
Because I know that was a big thing. that was
Maricopa
out
County,
about the stolen ballots or whatever.
yeah, well, there was a lot. So it's already been proven that in like Michigan and stuff like that, like Detroit, they were ballot harvesting. Ballot harvesting is illegal, but they've tried to spin it. Well, it wasn't harvesting, it was this, so it was legal, it was fine. When you've got people showing up and you're blocking out the windows so pollsters can't do their job and watch a legitimate count, and you keep bringing in more and more and more ballots, but there's no oversight. The moment there's no oversight and you interfere with oversight, I automatically don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a referee watching the fight, how do you know who won the fight?
Yeah.
And they were putting these poster boards up in these windows, and this video exists on YouTube. Why would you do that? If you have nothing to hide, why are you hiding?
Yeah.
So I believe there was a lot of shady shit going on.
Okay.
And the Maricopa County thing alone throws everything into question. And the first thing that the media likes to say is, well, no, everyone certified the election. Well, it doesn't mean shit. Like, you can certify. Certifying doesn't mean anything. It just means, oh yeah, no, we believe it all to be accounted for. I'm putting my stamp of approval on it. Did anyone count them? No. I just said that there happens to be 970,000 votes for this guy and 2 votes for that guy. I certify.
Yeah.
Well, who counted? Nobody. But I certified it.
Yeah.
You don't have to count them to certify
No.
them. So they were like, well, they were certified. There's been no proof. It was like, well, no. How about here's the crazy thing. And if anyone's been hanging out this long to hear this, and you care enough to listen. So Tucker Carlson, I don't know if you know who he
Yeah.
is. Biggest news
Met him through
guy.
Theo.
So Tucker Carlson's fantastic. So Tucker came out and was saying that these polling machines were he was calling them into question and saying that the election was rigged because of these machines. And it's particularly because of Maricopa County here in Arizona. There was a lot of shady shit that was proven to be shady shit happening there. And they were saying that these machines are the reason he lost Maricopa. Now, that company who owns those machines sued Fox News, and they claim that that's why they fired Tucker. That's horse shit. That's not why they fired Tucker. But then they still, like CNN and everyone else likes to point out, oh yeah, I remember that big lawsuit where they sued Fox, and Fox had to pay, it was like $100 million in damages or whatever. Okay, one of the guys who owns Fox owns that fucking company that owns those polling machines.
Jeez.
All that money did was change bank accounts.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. You're going to tell me that wasn't fucking shady? Like, oh, hey, I happen to be a VP at Fox News, and my machines are the ones that these guys are talking shit about. I'm going to sue a company I partially own from another company that I partially own.
Yeah.
I'm going to sue myself and get my own fucking money.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, dude, it's all a psyop. Like, it's all verified true. Like, that dude is involved in both companies, involved in that fucking lawsuit.
That's wild.
But it's all on the up and up. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that's something that scares me with this one. There's something like that happening again.
Yeah. It's Arizona, based on a few different things about the demographic here. I don't think Arizona is going to be a red state. I would love for Arizona to be a red state, but I don't think it's going to be, no matter how you do it. My dad's convinced that it's all just going to be a cheat situation. I'm like, well, I mean, yes, you're always going to have illegals that are voting. Like, it's true. Like, we're a border state. Everyone talks about California and Texas. Our entire southern border
is Mexico.
is Mexico.
Yeah.
Part of Texas is Mexico.
Yeah.
Like,
a little bit of California.
Yeah,
Mexico.
like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Like, our entire southern border is right. I can drive 45 minutes and be in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, dude. But yeah, it's, if everyone gets out and votes, I think that he's got a strong possibility of winning Arizona. I really do, but I don't think everyone's going to get out and vote. And this is where polls are dangerous. And JD will get into it. If you listen to that, he gets into why paying attention to polls is stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't pay attention to that. And then he explains why. And then I think he'll give a clearer answer to why polls really shouldn't be the thing to be paid attention to. So, yeah. Anyways, that was a long-ass rant about politics, but...
No, I gained information.
Cool, man. I'm glad. I'll probably do another one probably Thursday.
Okay.
Get into some more political stuff.
Yeah, I'll be interested in it.
Right on. All right, well. Oh, so... see.
I watched it last night specifically so I could...
I was paying attention to you, though,
yeah.
so I remember.
I watched it specifically because when you first started doing the voice, you were
Yeah.
like, give me lines.
Yeah.
And I watched it again just
Great.
to find some good ones. And that was the one that's...
Where's Rachel?
Where's Rachel? It's
All
not
right.
a car.
Well, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So, from Tucson, Arizona, I'm not wearing hockey pads. I'm Randy.
I'm Daniel.
Have a good one. I'm Batman.